Yo, what's up, everybody? Colin here. Long time no see. Adrian is with me today. But yeah, I was telling Adrian it's been a long time since I've done one of these, and I'm currently in the living room. Got a weird setup. Hope you can hear me. Just got a new dog, added a new member to the family, and him and the cats don't get along yet. So the cats are upstairs where my office is. Dog stays down here. My wife's not home, so I've got to watch the dog. But anyway, we're here. Like I said, hope you can hear me. Adrian, you can hear me okay, right?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I'm sure everybody wants to see what type of dog it is. Is it a big? Is it a pup? What is it?
He's a mutt, of course. We got him from the shelter. He had
Uh-huh.
been there for like 6 months. He was the longest, the dog that had been there the longest, I guess. And
Yeah.
he's
You took
part pit
sympathy on
bull. Exactly, I know. Yeah, but he's so great. Part pit bull. There's some pit bull in there, and then just a lot of everything. He just looks kind of
him.
like a dog, but he might come up and sit next to me at
Yeah,
some point. Yeah,
he's a
he
bit sad.
weighs 60 pounds as well. So he's not small, but not big, just kind
Mm.
of medium range. But yeah, he's a real good boy. His name's Leo. I tried to get some Spurs names. I threw a couple out there, and my wife agreed with Teddy. So Teddy almost happened, but he just didn't seem like a Teddy. So yeah, we didn't end up going with that. But yeah, he's laying on the floor over that way. And maybe he'll come join us at some point. But yeah, I
Mm.
hope that everybody's doing good. It's been a really long time since I've done this. I'm rusty. Rusty. But it's really good to be
Well, we've
back.
got Daniel 90, and he's ribbing me about Vlahovic because he knows I'm a fan of Vlahovic.
You
Thinks
are. I know you're a
he
fan of
thinks I've
Vlahovic.
got a picture of him by my bedside table, and then you've got that's it. And then you've got
Oh,
I don't know Cody. Big up Cody in FM
Cody's
League, second season with you.
yeah, Cody's one of my in real life friends. Me and Cody
Ryan
went to
G. Wolves
kindergarten
fan,
together.
another good guy in every chat as well, like
Ryan,
me. These
what's up,
guys, I think they're
Ryan?
stalking me, really. They follow me about rather than me following them.
No, they yeah, I see him all a lot. Ryan G's a good person, Wolves fan. Good to have him here. And then we got Peter. Guys, what's up, Peter? Hope everything is good with you,
And
man. Hope
Peter
you're
in
out there.
Australia, what's the weather forecast, mate? And why don't you come on, Peter, if you're not working?
Yeah, the link is in the chat, everybody.
You're
If you
working,
want to come
you're
join
shift
us,
down there.
the link is in the chat if you want to come join. And basically, I just threw this together. Everybody watching and Adrian, I just haven't talked Tottenham with anybody in quite a while. The season's been kind of up and down season. Everybody's not too happy about the way that certain things are going, but obviously there are parts that people are really happy about. Namely, the fact that we are one win away, or a loss potentially, but one game away potentially from a Europa League final. And that's got me excited. I'm sure you're excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's we're in such a strong position. I mean, fans need to realise when you flip, oh yeah, we're going to there, they're always winning all that. Fair enough, but I mean, we know a win and a draw we're through anyway. But even if we lose 1-0, 2-1, 3-2, we're still through. And I just don't see us not going out even winning, to be honest with you, let alone scoring. They're trying to psych out one of their players mouthed off, which is always a bad thing to do when you've got an important game coming.
I didn't know that happened. What did he say? Or
he was just saying we'll pull back. They won't like it. We'll pull back the 2-goal lead. I think it's just bravado, to be honest with you. I mean,
you gotta believe in yourself. I think it'd be worse if
believe they could turn it around, but I mean, they didn't lay a glove on us in that first game and got away with a goal, which was typical us. They had one shot in the first half, and the second half, the goal was a deflection off of Bentacle's shin or something like that, which left Vicario stranded. Those sort of goals always make the goalkeeper look like an idiot, you know what I mean? But
absolutely. But I think Vicario had that. I mean, he had eyes on it. I think had it not, had the deflection, he probably would have saved it. So yeah, I'm with you. I am. I'll tell you. I'll be honest. I'm slightly worried about their pitch, which I know is what everybody's worried about. And then everyone will throw out, what was the cup game? Who did we play that had the absolutely terrible pitch? Yeah, the Tamworth match, and that's the one everyone kind of uses as kind of a a guide or a reference. But
yeah, these AstroTurf pitches, they're different wherever you go.
That's the thing. It's hard to practice. Yeah, I mean, hard to get used to it.
Same for American football, then pitches out there, whether that oval-shaped ball bounces differently on them, I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, but Spurs have got the training centre, which is world-class. I mean, they've got an Astro pitch there, under a roof.
That very true. But yeah, but like you're saying, no two are the same. So we could practice and still be surprised by the surface when we get there. So we just have to, I guess.
The rumor was they water it to make it even more slippery. Water and plastic, right? So,
From what I've seen, they have some nice kind of pinpoint passing, and they move the ball quickly, so that should suit them.
They are
Yeah, I don't
what
know.
you
I'm not
expect
particularly
of
worried.
teams up there that's from Sweden, Scandinavia. That they're very energetic. I was at the home game. They are very energetic. They don't stop, and we actually let them have more of the ball than we could have, right? Because I think we were game managing it. 2-0. Got the third goal and then conceded that one like in about 83 minutes or some shit. But yeah.
I would have felt better
Yeah, it
had we
will be
not
Cody. It
conceded.
would be a masterclass. I want him to win it. I mean, I've got a lot of sympathy for the guy. I think he's part of his shit. I still think he's a dead man walking, but I mean, like,
That was going to be my next question. It was going to be, say we win, say that we win the trophy. He delivers the trophy in his second season, like he promised. Do you think that the damage is already done? Do you think that his time here is over?
Well, I'm going to ask the chat that as well. That those of you are good enough to be with us in the chat. Do you think like Ange wins it? It saves him. His tenure, he gets another year when Poch might be available then after the World Cup. Do you think Ange wins it? He sticks his fingers up to the club and says, "Fuck you, I'm off." Right?
He might well, yeah. He absolutely could do that.
Does Ange win it? And if he's not sacked, decide, hang about. No, I'm not going to stick my fingers up at a club and walk. Right? I want to crack at the Champions League. So there are options there. I mean, we've got the ones that want him to go, right? My Spurs core has always been the same thing since a young child, right? Which is the fact that you support the team, the manager, right? Why they're at the club. When they go, you thank them for their contributions. Goodbye. Good luck in your chosen path, right? That's it. I'm not into all this booing and stuff crap. Maybe it's just probably maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know. It just seems to be much easier to hate. Mind you, we didn't have all the social media you had in the past, you see, so it's different. So you've got that outlet, and it is very. And I don't think the toxicity at Spurs is any different to other clubs. Imagine West Ham yesterday, right? I don't go on their chat shows and all that. Their cup final, they've drawn at home. They'll be hurting because they've drawn at home against us because they hate us, right? So
I hate them too. So it works both ways.
Our fans on the shows I was on last night, they're all going, "Oh, yawn fest," you know what I mean? And like it was a complete and utter bore.
Oh, it truly was. That's 90 minutes of my life, or 90 plus minutes, 2 hours I would like back.
Yeah.
Got up early to watch that one, and it was a total letdown. Let's track back a little bit and talk about West Ham and the match. First of all, everybody who knows me knows that I hate West Ham. West Ham are like my least favorite team in existence. Just the fact that they hate us so much, the fact that they get so excited about this match. They've always had players that I found unlikable. Oh my gosh, Mark Noble. God, I hated that guy. Something about him. There was a time where he kind of like squared up to.
He's like a club pro though, a good pro for West Ham, Mark Noble though.
And he was a good player. One of those good, not great players. He did his job for sure. But yeah, he was very unlikable. Yeah, I mean, first of all, is it just proximity? Is that the only, so I'll ask you, just because you'll know better than I will. Is it just proximity? The fact that they consider us rivals? Is it just because we're both London clubs?
Look, you have to go at the hate. I mean, look, Arsenal, the rivalry started when we were relegated at their expense in 1919.
Right.
Then they moved from Woolwich to where they are. And Arsenal originally, believe it or not, their first name was actually Dial Square. That was their original name. They've had the name Royal Arsenal, Woolwich Arsenal to Arsenal. They moved from Woolwich. We didn't just complain when they moved to North London. Orient and Chelsea complained at that time, believe it or not.
I wasn't unaware.
Yeah. So and then you've got the rivalry of the closeness. So they're always our main rivals.
I'll ask everyone in the chat too while you're answering. Is everyone in the chat? Do you guys hate West Ham? What's your thoughts on West Ham? Is it just
Chelsea haters? Because everyone wants a target they can climb up the ladder and climb above as well. And Chelsea have only done it the bent way with Abramovich's laundered money, in my opinion, and crooked deals, which are going to come out eventually, right? And then we can laugh at all their trophies and say, well, everything you're wondering was a fake. Same as Man City, because the results there, 115 charges. I mean, they know the results. They just weren't going to release them during the season. So we'll find out at the end of this season when the tribunal, which is independent, and if you bear in mind that Nottingham Forest and Everton had points deductions for minor fringes of the rules, right? If these, hello, Pooch. If these are, he's certainly made himself at home already, isn't he? How long you had him?
A couple of weeks now. 2
All
weeks.
right. Yeah.
Yep.
So he's got you by the love spuds already, then, Colin. Right?
Oh, absolutely. He gets up on the sofa. He lays in our bed. He's he's part of the family for sure. Love him.
Yeah.
Leo, you're famous, bud. You're on TV.
Yeah. The cats will
But
be governors, though. They always are when it comes to cats and dogs. Like,
it's still a war right now. They're a turf war. But yeah, the cats have got the upstairs. I don't let him upstairs at this time, just to give them kind of like a safe place to be. But yeah, so
come on, Daniel, get on, mate. Get on.
And, yeah, Daniel's going to be here. That'll be fun. That'll be good stuff. But yeah, I mean, West Ham they just annoy me. And the match yesterday, do you put any stock in? So did you see the clip of oh my God,
just going back before that, the reason that the Chelsea rivalry in 1967, we beat them in the FA Cup final 2-1 with goals from Frank Saul and Jimmy Robertson, right? So that starts the rivalry then, more with them there. You know, it wasn't so intense in those days. If you lost to a London rival, it was like, I mean, you had no internet, no media like that. It wasn't hyped up. All these games now are hyped up to the nth degree now, aren't they, if it's a rival game? Because it's what the media want. They stir up all this hype, get everyone at each other's throats, and then go, it's nothing to do with me.
I didn't do it. We didn't do it.
We didn't do it, yeah. So that's it with Chelsea. With West Ham, they would like to be able to leap above us. They sort of say with their stadium holds a couple more than ours does or whatever, but like...
Yeah, their stadium's trash, though. I mean, I hate that stadium. They've made it better than I expected, but that track around the pitch...
And it's sad, it's pathetic, really, because like every time the league fixtures are published, the first thing the West Ham fans look for is the Spurs games, home and away. It's their cup final. And our fans go there and sing, is this your cup final? Is this your cup? And I bet they give it to them yesterday. Even though it's 1-1 board draw, but I bet your life the Spurs fans give it to them big.
And they were playing their best. They had their best team out there. They had all of their heavy hitters on the pitch, whereas we had, Ben Davis and
changes, I think.
Right, absolutely. So, I mean, it's hard to say that we even put in 100% effort. And even the players that were on the pitch, in my opinion, didn't look like they were putting in 100% effort. Some of them, it's apparent why they're not starting the more important matches.
And the other rivalry from London clubs, I mean, we've beaten QPR in the final, so they don't like us. So with Fulham and others, the other rivalry was on Spurs had a traditional fan base that was Jewish as well.
Oh, wow. So
there's a lot of anti-Semitism at that time. There's still some now direct at the club, not as much as it used to be. When fans would come to the stadium and they'd make hissing. Are you still there? Well,
I'm still here. Yes, sir. Trying to get the dog to
hissing noises like gas in a concentration camps and things like that. And they'd sing about, like singing the blues. I've never enjoyed it more, like gassing the Jews and blah. And they'd sing all these sort of racist songs. But in the 70s and all that, you had sort of racist programs on the telly, like Mind Your Language and all that. But we've moved on. America's moved on, but you still got your redneck states, obviously, right? You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah, for sure.
But you moved on a lot of areas and haven't moved on other areas. But so I think America's actually behind us. But then I think we've taken some things a bit too far, actually. But we won't get into politics, right? Because everyone's got different opinions and supports different parties. So, yeah. So basically, we revel in the fact at Spurs, knowing that like everyone hates us. Mill used to sing "Everyone hates us, but we don't care." But in the upper league in the first division, everyone hated Tottenham. It was fashionable in London to hate Tottenham, basically, if you want a Spurs fan. So I'm not sure what it's like in the Midlands or up north, but yeah.
Interesting. Well, so that gives me a bit of context. I appreciate that. But yeah, it doesn't take away any of my hate for West Ham, and I didn't think it would. So yeah, to the actual match itself. I haven't talked to anybody about it. I think I typed a couple messages into the the WhatsApp groups about how I wanted that 2 hours of my life back. Did you see where? And God, who was it? Was it Jared Bowen? Looked like he punched Basuma in the face. I wonder if you put any stock into that. I don't know if you saw it. I
didn't actually. I don't recall that bit. On my stream was coming and going, like so.
66th minute, it looks like it
Right.
was, and I could send you it on here, on in WhatsApp. I don't think I should put it on the stream, but yeah, it was 66th minute.
Mm.
It happened kind of by the corner flag, and yeah, he just wildly swung his arms, closed fist, got Basuma in the face. Basuma was rolling around on the ground for quite a bit of time. From the first angle I saw, it didn't look like anything, and then I see the reverse angle here. Again, I wish I could show it, but I don't think I should. But
Right.
yeah, I mean, it looks
Is
like
it
an
something
actual
they can take
retroactive like look at.
belatedly, I wonder?
I don't know, because there was nothing called at the time. I don't know what I don't remember the exact rules on that. Like, if does it have to have been called for them to go back and look at it? But nothing was given at the time, so I'm not 100% sure. And anybody in the chat, if you know anything about that, or if you saw that in the 66th minute, let me know. I'll actually put a link in the chat so everyone can watch it if you'd like. But yeah, I thought that was it was Jared Bowen though, for sure. And I definitely thought that it was off, and yeah, I'm surprised nothing happened. Who was the
What I
referee?
find frustrating
Who was the
is
referee in that match?
Vicario lets the goal in between his legs, and then he makes a worldy save later on when he dives, and you just think he's just not in his best form. Big up, Dan.
Can you
What's
hear
up,
me
Daniel?
properly? Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Well, I was on another show yesterday. My mic was playing up, so just wanted to make sure it was better today. He's all good.
No,
mate,
we got you, man. Loud and clear. Yeah, we're good. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. Bit dreading the game on Thursday after the Madison news, so a little bit more worried.
So yeah, what has anything come out like concretely? Has any concrete news come out? I heard that Ange said, it doesn't look good or whatever he said, but I didn't hear anything concrete yet.
Yeah, I haven't heard it confirmed yet, I don't think, but I think it's
no, he's not playing Thursday. He's not.
Yeah.
You've got two reports. One said he's out for the season, and the other one said sideline. So that told me they don't know. So unless he's had a scan today, which is bank holiday, so mind you, private clinics will be open, I should imagine, when they've got
money talks.
You'll hear something tomorrow, I think, whether he's out for the season or whatever. And if he is, then we've lost Bergvall and Madison, which means to me, well, Decky has to play, and he needed the minutes just to get into form, but he weren't great again. But I'm expecting a performance for him, and I mean, obviously Basuma's going to play out there now. That's a cert with Decky and Bentancur. So I think there'll be a midfield three. Front. What do you think, Dan? Do you think that'll be the midfield three?
Yeah, well, definitely Basuma Bentancur. Basuma Bentancur played well.
Yeah,
the other
day
as well. Yeah, I think both of them played well. I was impressed with Basuma because I think a lot of Spurs fans would say the surprise we probably weren't even happy with him on the pitch, but he really played well. Yeah. So if you think of it now, the only problem is with Bergvall, Madison out, we don't have a lot of options on the bench for midfielders now. So we're literally going to have to play three midfielders, and then we've only got probably Sarr on the bench as a midfielder now. So Gray's going to have to be probably an option.
Mikey Moore could come in as a 10.
I was going to ask you guys about that, but yeah.
I mean you've got, that because who didn't play, and I picked that team, barring Vicario, because I actually thought Kinski would get a game, because otherwise when you're going to play him, mind you can play him against Villa, Brighton and Palace now. Those games don't mean nothing, right? So, and I expect the youngsters to this is the time to give them game time in those games, right? But it's going to be Udogie on the left. It's going to be Romero and VDV, and Porro's going to play for the crossing away out there. We've virtually named the back four, the goalkeeper, and the midfield three. Front three is going to be a little bit up in the air. Sonny has trained for nearly 2 weeks now. They're relying on a late fitness test. But Ange has been coy before when players been in. I think Sonny's fit and have just wrapped him in cotton wool. I really do. They weren't going to chance him at West Ham or anything like that. And even if Madison only had a slight knock, they wouldn't have played him anyway. So we know it's pretty odds on whether you like the players. Not Solanke will play through the middle, and Johnson will play on the right.
I see that. What do you think? Do you think that we've seen enough out of Richarlison that he deserves a starting spot?
He's getting back, but he's rusty, isn't he? It's like,
I don't know. I think he creates more than I think a lot of our players do. He's got this drive and a desire to make forward, it happen. Doesn't he? He really does. And a lot of our players don't have that.
Forward.
Yeah.
But end product.
Do you want to know what I'll do with Mikey Moore? personally. This is what I would do. This is to sort of try and solve the. Well, this is what I would do. I don't know if Ange would do it. If we can get past the game on Thursday with Cooley playing in the Maddison role, obviously we can just grind out this result, which I think we're going to do. I think we're going to get through. My one big problem about this Maddison being out now is not so much the Thursday game, because I think we can get through this game on Thursday without Maddison anyway. I think we can go there and grind out a result and get through this tie. It's the 90-minute match against Maine. It's the 90-minute match against Man United. The 3 times they played Man United this season, where we beat them, Maddison's played in all 3 games, and he's been instrumental in all 3. If you remember the 3-0 at Old Trafford, he got Bruno Fernandes sent off, and that changed the game. We were 1-0 up, and we ended up winning it
3-0. He might be fit for the final if Man United make it. But they've only got a 3-0 lead in Bilbao.
This is what I was about to say. This is what I was about to say to do, though. This is what I'm saying. This is what I think to do. If we get to the final, you've got what? How many games left in the Premier League after the Bodo game? What, 3?
I think 3. Yeah.
That's 21st of May is the final on a Wednesday. I think the season finishes on the 28th or something.
Yes, you have 3 Premier League games left. I think it'd be Palace, then obviously Villa, and then Brighton, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Put Mikey Morgan number 10 for the last 3 Premier League games of the season, and try this rotation thing out before the end of the Premier League season, and give him 3 games, and see what he's like away at Aston Villa, home to Brighton, and home to Crystal Palace, and see if it can work in them 3 games going up to the Man United final. That'll be my one solution to do, other than playing Kulu in the number 10 role. Because Mikey Moore has the ability to play that role, definitely. You can tell, but the only problem is about his age, and then stick him in there straight away in the final when that is Spurs. I want to see him given 3 games there, If we can see him build up a bit of form in that position, he might be the difference maker in this position as well, because
we want. Yeah, I agree, and not just that. You've got those 3 games and the pre-season games, which should be used for that as well. You want Donnelly to come in. He's got the Player of the Championship award, and Keeley got an award as well. Their supporters award or something. They got their awards.
Yeah, I saw that. I actually have a little
Donnelly. I want to see Lancashire brought back. I want to see Vaskovic on that pre-season tour as well, Dan. So it's like he's not the quickest, but he's one hell of a centre back. I think he got 6 goals in about 20 odd games. We paid 12 mil for him as a 16-year-old, right? From Hajduk Split he's smashed it everywhere he's gone. He's at Westerlo with maybe they go on pre-season and go, right, look, you're only just 18 in February, so January was the cut-off point, so he couldn't join the squad. So they then got to decide, well, we bring you into the squad, and we're not short of centre-backs, because then you got Dorrington and Phillips. Then you got Davis. When Dragason's fit, you got Dragason. You got Danso, who looks like captain material to me, ex-rugby player and all that, pick football. He really looks like he'd give a real warrior performance. I think probably our only standout performer against West Ham. Davies, and we don't know what's going to happen with Romero. So we've got a choice of 8 centre-backs, basically. So if Romero went and you got good money and you really did want to pay 70 million for a striker, I wouldn't be adverse of not replacing Romero, because I think we've got enough good cover there with Danso and all that. And Dragason's not bad. He hit bad form, but everyone's been crap this season. Let's be fair. If we replace Romero, that's fine. But you got the most important position we need to really replace at the moment, a left back and a number 9. We need cover for you, doggy. You've got Spence and Porro on the right. Yeah. And we know Gray can fill in, but we shouldn't be talking about filling in. We should be putting players that we feel really confident that really like.
Hold on. So you don't feel really good about Spence on the left? I know that Spence can't be covered for 2 positions ideally, but I think that Spence is a good option. I think that Spence is just as good as left back as he's a right back. Personally, I know that we haven't seen a ton of games with him playing there, but when we have, I've been impressed.
We've seen the issue is, Dan, though, isn't it? Is we've seen more of Spence on the left, so fans are thinking, "Oh, keep him on the left." But when he played in the FA Cup against Arsenal, he was excellent on the right.
So you will see him. He's just a good player. He's just a good fullback. We've got that luxury, I think. Okay, real quick, I want to rein it back. We got a little far away from the the Europa League and the upcoming matches. David Clark, big up to David. Just wanted to say hey to David Clark. Ronnie's in the chat as well. I'll revisit that. Ronnie said that the latest that he heard was that Madison's being assessed for ligament damage, severity to be clarified in the next 48 hours. It's a dream of mine that they come back and say, oh, it's actually not as bad as we thought. But I think with everything that we've heard, he's likely out.
Well, when you normally do ligaments, they fucking hurt. And he didn't go down like a sack of shit. And he
did this injury happen when the keeper smashed into him? Is that when this happened?
I think it's, to me, I'm hoping it's just like twisted knee. That's what I'm hoping, right? Because he wasn't, look, when Bentancur did his ACL and went down, even though he limped off, you look at players' expressions on their faces.
Oh yeah,
right?
it's all there. You can't control the expression.
They go and roll about all dramatic and like they're virtually laughing. You know what I mean? You think, yeah, nothing wrong with you, right? You can tell when someone's hurt. He didn't look that hurt, but it doesn't mean he kind of like strained them or pulled them. I don't think it. And I'm hoping as well. I don't think it's as bad as what the media are making out. They're always going to overhype it anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely a fact. You know, they need the drama and they need to sell, and you know they need people to wonder and click, and that's all true. But I don't know. I mean, I think that there's something there with all the leaks and stuff that we've had and the supposed mole within the team. I think that the news we've got is probably pretty close to the truth, and so he's probably out for a while at least.
I'm not too bothered about this game Thursday, though. I'll be honest with you, because
although
we know winning a draw takes us through, we can lose by the odd goal and still go through. We could lose 1-0, 2-1, 3-2. We're in real strong position, Dan. What do you think?
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong, Colin. Obviously, what I think was about to say, I'm still worried about the game because you never know. We're going into like an unknown with this match. Like this comment about David here, like, I'm going to sort of like hurry back on it here because I do know about Bodo, because I was one of the persons who said that Bodo was going to knock out Lazio. So I'm not underestimating Bodo. For a start, I just know in the last 3 years since Bodo got on this little crazy run at home in Europa League, they've not played any English sides in that period. Yeah, and the one thing that English sides are the best in Europe, are doing, is playing in transition. That's a fact. I don't care what anyone says about anything of football. That is a fact. In Europe, English teams are the best teams at playing against teams in transition. And this is a fact. The last time that they played the English side at home was 2022. Which was Arsenal. They lost 1-0, and then they went and lost 3-0 at the Emirates in 2022. And then this is what their manager said after the game. He learned something from the Arsenal game when he went to the Emirates. He learned basically not to be so naive in the away game, because basically he knows basically to shot more. So basically that's what they were doing. They're basically trying to keep themselves in the tie for the home game. So we have to be a bit worried about this, because that's how they sort of set up. They set up specifically, to get you back to their place, because they always think they got a chance there. But I look at the way they play, and I look at their defensively, and I think there's ways to hurt this Bodo team. Even in the first game, it's an AstroTurf pitch. You can see that they struggle with high balls in the air as well. Bodo, you can hurt them there as well. We can hurt them. My theory is this is how I think the game's going to go. I think everyone's going to go there and think we're going to sit back. We're going to sit back a little bit. But I think we're going to get the first goal in this game, and then the second goal. And then all Spurs fans are going to be sitting there like 5-1 up on aggregate. The game's done, and it's going to get a bit slippy to 5-3. And then we're going to see this game out. It's going to be a 5-3 aggregate score, 2-2 on the night. That's how I see it going. That's the sort of Spurs way a result goes. I cannot see it. If the one bad scenario from this game can be, if we go over there, we concede in the first 4 minutes. If we concede in the first 4 minutes, like we've done some Premier League games this season, I will then start worrying about this side.
Do you envisage a case for Dan? Do you envisage a case for Richarlison starting on the left, because he gives us that aggression and tracking back, because it's an away game?
I think so. Personally, I think so. I think
Son might come on in a second. If we need a goal, then bring Son on the second half, because I know he's been in shit form on the eye test. He's got good numbers, but I mean,
am I crazy to think that Richarlison
he's a good finisher when he's on song? He's their best finisher, believe it or not. He is.
But on current form, I think that Richarlison's more of a goal threat, and that might be a wild thing to say. You guys might not agree, but I think that on current. Sorry.
This is my problem. Sorry, Colin, mate. This is my problem. 1 second about starting 2 strikers at the same time. With Richarlison now, we can't guarantee he's going to last longer than 45 minutes at the moment, until he gets subbed off, because all the Ange's going to sub him off for tactical, to last him. So if we start 2 strikers and this is not going good, we've got no real options off the bench we can bring on as like a number 9, really, like a senior number 9. He's got Tell, really. Tell's not a striker. Tell's a left winger. I don't really rate
He doesn't impress me through the
I
middle.
don't really
No.
rate him, yes. I don't want to be seeing players. Let's get a situation where if you start Solanke and Richie, and say like Solanke's not doing well, and if you stick Richie in the centre, you can't guarantee you're going to get 90 minutes out of Richie. So you might only get 40.
I think Ronnie's got a team. If Son's fit, I think this is a team. The only question I would say, like, if there's still a doubt on Son, he's going to play. If he comes on for half hour, he's definitely playing in this game, right? Unless
I'd rather him come on. I'd rather him come on.
Well, unless he doesn't need to come on. If we're 3-0 up and we've hit them on the break, you know, the one thing I will say about Tell and Dancer were our two best players against West Ham. What Tell gives you, he's got a couple of goals and all that. But the more I see of Tell, I like him. I ain't paying 60 million for him, nothing like that.
Oh,
you know, 30, 35, right? But because we've already given him a loan fee, probably a 5 mil. I'll take him for that. He does give you for a winger. He gives you physicality as well, and his aggression, and he tracks back and all that. He gives you more than Son would do tracking back, because Son will get bundled off the ball, like, you know. So, well, this is that Ange's got to get it right, and I think he will. We're going to the final, and we are winning it, in my opinion. 2-1 in the final.
You brought up a good point, though. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about Tell. Definitely don't like him through the middle. I don't think that we play to his strengths. I don't think that he fits what we're looking for in a striker, at least in this system, through the middle. What is this system? Is it working? Is it going to, be what we continue to kind of play next season? That's a great question. But I think currently he doesn't fit as a lone striker in the system.
Because he hasn't advanced on his development yet. He's 19. So we don't know if he could eventually play as a 9. I mean, you look at Henry at Arsenal. World-class player, playing on the wing, got converted through the middle and was world-class through the middle. Now, we could only dream that we had a player like Tell and that happens, right? But, I mean, we don't know. It's too young. And that's the whole problem with our attack. I mean, Son's oven ready when he's fit and at his most energetic. Solanke was brought in as oven ready. Johnson, I believe, has got a higher ceiling. And I don't like the fact that under Ange that our wingers are told to stay out wide no matter what. Because in the modern game, every player has to work and contribute. And if you're just leaving players out, I get it, the out ball, I get all that. But when you're struggling, you come back and you help out. But it doesn't happen under Ange ball. All right, Audio, big up. Yeah.
Haven't seen you in a while, bud, but it's because I haven't done this in a while. I got to be that guy. Everybody, if you're watching, if you haven't, hit a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. No, but Adrian, you make good points. I just I don't know. I hope that we get Tell. Like you said, I don't want to pay the price that's being touted for him, or the price that they offered him to us for. Definitely don't want to pay that. But yeah, I mean, if we can get him for half of that, I think he'd be a good player.
I don't know
not as a lone striker.
I don't know if Dan or you see it, but today I went and grabbed the end of season video of Manor Solomon's games at Leeds. All right, they're in the Championship. 10 goals, 13 assists. He scored the win of the weekend, which actually got them the championship. They probably should have wrapped up
late goal. Yeah.
Well, David Clark was an ex-winger. I'd like his opinion on this. I mean, like, I watch this. When I watch a video, people go to me, but when you watch a video, but players always look good. I go, but well, hang about. When I watch a video on YouTube, excluding defenders, if I'm watching midfielders and attackers, I'm looking for players with vision that move the ball quickly, that can make things happen. And Solomon, we see him in two cameo appearances for Spurs. Then he played in that away game at Burnley where we won 5-2, and he gave 2 assists for Son. And I said at the time, a winger who looks up, which I think David Clark's gone on about wingers before, head down and like just hoof across in like. And I want to watch these goals today. And he always seems to make time to look up before he crosses the ball. Right? You haven't got to be the fastest winger on the planet, because Mikey Moore's not fast, but he's absolute class, right? But so I'm thinking now, they all talk about going and get another winger. We've got Yang Min Hook, who is fast, right? Out on loan at QPR, but he's not ready either. Then you got Solomon, but Solomon's 25. He's been around a little bit. He kept Mudryk out of that Shakhtar Donetsk side. He's no mug. Now, I don't know if he can produce the same stats at Leeds in the Championship in the Premier League, but I'd like to see him on the pre-season tour before we decide whether we sell him or not, because we can end up saving a fortune like we have on Spence, given his second chance. And if they don't consider him good enough, okay, sell him. We'll get 20 mil, 25 mil. Now Leeds have been promoted for him, and we paid nothing for him. So that would be all profit on the PSR rules, which would really help us. But I want to see this kid given a chance, you know.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, he impressed me. The debut game you're talking about when he got was it 2 assists, 1 goal? I mean, I was impressed then. Daniel, do you think that he could reproduce those same kind of numbers for Spurs in the Premier League?
This is it. We don't know.
It's a bit of a weird one, Solomon, because to my Leeds family, I prefer them really him to stay there because I know they love him there. So, but I'm not 100% sure about Solomon at Spurs. Really, I think he's more. I think he's found the club now. He's settled out here. I think this loan spell was right for him as well. Like you have to look at it as well. Like if we would have said in the summer we could potentially get 20, 25 plus for this for Solomon a year later, we would have been like, right, that's good money, because this
he came in for free, right? Like literally free.
Yeah, it's a guy. I don't know if we have to pay any compo on it, but it was sort of a situation where he was allowed to leave his contract, obviously because of the situation going on, where he's allowed to leave it because of FIFA. I look at it now, I'm like, right, if we could get 25 plus for this guy and then reinvest that into another left wing, like he's. Like, I'm not a big fan of getting Telvin. I'm not a big fan of getting Telvin, but like if some Spurs fans wanted to look at it like as a smart business move, like how old's Telvin? 19 years old.
Yeah.
And if you're going to like get this down to maybe 30, say you get it down to like 30 million quid, from what is that now, 50 million pounds, and then you say, well, I'm not really a big fan of getting it, but say he does show some glimpses between now and the end of the season, and potentially wins us that Europa League or something, that would win me. That would definitely win me over from like who's someone who's been really slating in the last couple of weeks. Like, say went and got him for 30, we sold him for 20. That's a 10 million pound like net. We have to spend an extra 10 million pound net spent, obviously of our own cash, obviously. But then we've got someone who's like 4 or 5 years younger who potentially can grow into a special player by the time he's 21, 22. So you look at something like that as well. Like we could then potentially maybe get a Mattis Tell. We could go back to. I'm not a big fan of getting Tell myself. And if I look at it like as someone like Spurs, maybe look at it like as a business sense, Tell could come good. If you look at it, Tell could come good, and then we could have a very good player there. The hype around this kid, got me hyped when we signed him, which I'm not going to buy into all the time anymore. See when you hear hype about a player that you don't watch enough of, and you just go on the hype, you're like, on my deadline day, I was like, yes, but I thought he could probably play up front after him, what some people said, and I watched him a couple of games for Spurs. Like, this guy can definitely not play up front yet. He needs to learn more. What Adrian said was true about Henry, though, but I'm not going to obviously say, oh, yeah, he's going to like get the Henry, obviously, sort of label.
The thing is, Dan, the problem is we want oven-ready players now forward line.
Yeah.
And we haven't got them. I mean, we don't know.
I think Solomon might be more oven-ready than Tell.
I didn't want Johnson, but I think he's got a higher ceiling because under a different manager, I think Johnson will be told, well, you've got to track back and contribute more. And as he's got 17 goals and 3 assists, if he was tracking back and contributing more and looking better on the eye test, right, he's not a tapping merchant. I've seen it. You know when strikers can finish, right? And it takes your instinct. You've got to be in the right position to get there, to put the ball in the net. So there's more than that, right, to his game. So I think he's a talent with a higher ceiling, Johnson, but he's got to prove it. And I don't think he's going to prove it unless he's told to work harder. And we've seen it with both our wingers been told to stay out wide on the wings. Yeah, great. When we're struggling, you're not doing nothing. Even Harry Kane had the sense to drop back when we were struggling, defending at corners and free kicks and things like that, So that's what I don't like about the system. You cannot afford to carry any players in the Premier League. It's unforgiving. It doesn't, So, I mean, Solomon, I don't know. I can't tell you, but I think he's worth a look at pre-season. If they don't sell him, we're going to have pre-season.
I could definitely see Levy selling him, though. I mean, he'll sniff money.
Well, yeah, because he's 100% profit because he didn't cost nothing, right? So on the PSR rules, he's 100% profit.
I mean, we weren't paying his. I wonder if we were paying any of his wages or if Leeds.
And we've got Son on the wing there. You've got Mikey Moore out there. You've got Tell out there if he stays. You've got Johnson on the other side. Right, you got Odegaard, you got Yan Min Hook. That's 6 wingers when you only need 4, right? And then you're talking about keeping Solomon. So something's got to give. So they might just say, "Well, no, we like the ones we've got." And they're like intel in training. So this is the other thing we don't see, Dan, isn't it? We don't see how sharp or how good a player looks in training when the press aren't there and all that. So sometimes the clubs keep players and you think, why do they keep playing him? You know what I mean? You think, like, he's been crap, like, you know what I mean? But they must see something in these players. Well, they obviously do that we don't, you know.
Very true. I like David's comment here. Johnson will never be a winger. He's a ready-made second striker. It's why his best work is done in the box, and he does nothing outside the box. He's
got striker's instinct. Oh, he has scored a couple of goals outside the box when he's curled him at the far corner. That goal he got against Coventry in the league, I thought, because last season he only got 5 goals.
I'm trying to remember it.
And he was doing a Werner, and he was blasting them over the bar and to the sides and all that. Maybe it was nerves or whatever. And Ange had a lot of faith in him because he got his debut away to Arsenal. That is a big call for a kid to get his debut away there. And we got 2-2, didn't we? And he had a couple of scoring chances there, right? And then at Coventry in the League Cup, do you remember? He was getting loads of abuse on social media. And he took that one call in. He chipped the keeper. And the keeper come out because Spence got the winner, right? And I thought, I like composed finishers, right? That can do it under those pressures. And that was composed. And we see it with a few of these goals he's put into the corner from the edge of the penalty area. All right. A lot of them has been when he's running on a far post. But that takes vision as well, because you're looking where other players are and you're thinking, I'm coming in here hoping or knowing we've done it in training. That ball's coming over here. Right. So I've warmed to him. I didn't even want him at the club. I didn't. When I watch videos and when they gain gravitas about a player, I'll go and plaster them everywhere and all our groups and everything else. I didn't want it. I thought, what's so special about this kid? You know?
Yeah, it was a pretty high fee for what I thought he was going to offer. I didn't expect this many goals.
I think the fee's been exaggerated. They said like 40, 45. I don't think it was that. He might have been 35 with add-ons or something, which they'll probably get paid for because he's got good numbers, right? Yeah, but we aren't in Europe, we weren't in Europe, so maybe he won't. We weren't in Europe the year before when he first came. I don't think so.
I wanted to real quick. So our boy Jose Eltel is not feeling well. He's under the weather. He says he's going to the doctor in the morning. But everybody, just keep Jose in your thoughts. As he is currently.
Get well soon.
Absolutely.
Get on the cod liver oil, Jose. Get on the cod liver oil.
Take your vitamins, man. Be good to your body. I'm sure he's doing all those things. Jose is the king of taking care of yourself. So, everybody just wish Jose well. And, Dan, I already know your opinion on this, but I just want to ask you again, see if it's changed. If we win Europa, which I don't know, it looks like it's at least a 50-50 chance in my eyes. If that were to happen, do you think there's any kind of a world where Ange stays, or do you think that he's done? Do you think that the damage is already done and that he's gone?
It's too far gone, mate. Like to go the other side now. Like I think the one bit that, like we spoke about this in the past, Colin, obviously. So obviously you know what I've been about it, but I feel like the one thing that you can obviously mend the relationship with the fans by obviously winning the Europa League, but I feel like there's too many alarm red flags in the domestic form. And I feel like if you're going to give this guy a first season, like there's too many red flags with the second season to give this guy a third season. Like when you give a basis on like a 4-year plan, if you think was he given a 4-year contract? And when he took over, wasn't it?
Probably. Do you know, Adrian, how long of a contract he got? 4 years?
I think it was 4 years. Yeah, I think it was 4 years. If you look at it, if you go into the first season, is there enough basis on the second season to say, look, we're going to give this guy the rest of his contract? Because if you look at it now, if you go into the third year, potentially you're going to go into the last 20 months of his contract. By the time this could go horribly wrong. Think about it. If we win the Europa League and keep this guy here, and the league form does not improve here by November, he's gone. Randy Ramos style. We've just wasted the summer by buying his players again. Essentially his players, and then we've basically got another manager coming in October, November. Then we've only got a January transfer window where he can maybe bring on 2 or 3 of his own players, and we know Levy probably won't even do that. And then we potentially wasted that season, the first season. I get really worried about.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point.
The little bit of the Europa League will be a great success for the football club, yeah. Because the one thing we've always wanted to chase is a trophy. It's been a long trophy drought, yeah. But the one thing Spurs fans should not hide from the reality is, we're sitting basically 17th place in the Premier League. 17th place in the Premier League, yeah, for a club like Tottenham Hotspur, yeah, even with the Europa League or not, yeah, it's just not acceptable. And it's like it sends up too many alarm bells to give a manager another 38-game season. You see what I'm saying? Because like if you basically,
I'm with you.
Yeah, because like I've said this before, like to people, like if you look at like how managers get sacked, a lot of managers get sacked on their domestic form. Yeah, they don't get sacked on. Oh, they don't keep their jobs on winning European trophies. Well, some of them might do for 3 months, like Di Matteo did. And then Di Matteo was gone. How quickly was he gone from Chelsea after he won the Champions League? 4 months later. So I think he won the Champions League. Was it Chelsea? I mean, it was temporary. Then
and
he
the
the
FA
permanent
Cup.
job.
He won both. He won the FA Cup and the Champions League.
True. Yeah, true. He won the FA Cup that same season as well. So he done the double. He done the Champions League and FA Cup. 4 months into the next season, November, he was gone. So like even the Champions League, sometimes don't give you that credit in the bank, as a manager. And I have to look at it sometimes, and I have to look at the bigger picture for Tottenham. And I'm like, do we see ourselves getting back into like the top 6 with this guy? I don't personally see it, Colin, man. And it's not me hating on the guy. It's just me trying to be like. It's just me. Not me hating on the guy. It's like, the one thing people seem to forget about me, like when I criticise him, is I do not hate this guy. So I come across as like me joking about him sometimes, or like the pub manager sort of thing, and that. I want any manager to be successful for this football club, because then it means Tottenham do well. At the end of the day, that's the one. That's the one main thing I seem to think a lot of fans have got lost in when they hear fans criticise Ange. They seem to think we just want him to we want him to fail. No, we don't want him to fail. We sort of want him to prove us wrong. With our criticisms in the last 6 months, and prove us complete. There'll be nothing more better in the world, than Ange proving every single Spurs fan wrong. Not every single, but all the majority of Spurs fans wrong, and sort of like getting it. What we've said about in the last year. Well, he probably can't prove us wrong now because even if he wins Europa League, the league form's been too bad. But say if he would have turned this around in like January or like December when it was getting. There was a period in this season where it got really bad, bad through the injury crisis, and in my eyes, there was a period where I saw red flags where he didn't pick up enough points during an injury crisis, and people will say, "What's that about?" Like, sometimes you just have to draw games instead of lose games, And in that injury crisis, we were either winning games or losing games. We weren't even picking up even these extra little points sometimes, when there was points where we could just grind out some point. We got ourselves into a situation in like February, where we were looking at like Ipswich and Leicester results, like don't start picking up some points because we can start getting dragged into this little relegation battle. And if we had just picked up some points in that injury crisis, they wouldn't even got to that situation. And it's just like I think things like that is on that. As a manager, if we get into another situation like this again next year, where he has 11 players out, are we going to rely on him not to drop us down to 15th, 16th for the league again? That's what I'm
I get what you're saying. He's got no willingness to change his style, no willingness to change whenever he needs to change. I think that he's a good manager. Don't get me wrong. I think with the right players, and it's kind of what David's saying here. I think that with the right players, he could absolutely do a great job in the Premier League. I really do. I think if you were at a club with a lot more money that was willing to get him exactly what he wanted to play his style, I think that he could do it. It's just not. It's clearly not going to happen here. Our strategy of buying young players that we hope are going to develop. I think that if you got him all of the ready-made players that he needs, I think it would work. But I don't think that we're going to do it. I just don't think it's going to happen. And like you said, I don't dislike him. In fact, I actually like him. I thought at least when he first came, he was kind of a breath of fresh air. He was honest and didn't beat around the bush, didn't speak in weird, riddles like Pochettino did. And I liked that. I liked how frank and honest he was. And I like his story, that he's older as managers go and that he didn't, get it started at a great team. He worked his way up. And I thought that was all kind of endearing and cool. But yeah, I mean, my love for him and my patience with him is waning. And I wouldn't be upset if he stayed, but I just don't ever see it. I don't see it happening. I don't think it's possible.
I'll put the link in the channel again, Colin, if anyone wants to come on, if Jose wants to come on, or Leo, if you want to come on, mate, I'll put the link.
Come say hi. Come say hi.
Like David said there as well, though, like about Andrew's system, though, like if you can't get the players for your system, then you just have to sometimes get a coach to coach the players better. And if you look at the managers we're looking at now, someone like a Xavi, who is sort of getting linked a lot in his last week or so, maybe suits these players we've got now. If we're not going to buy the 200, 300 million pound transfer windows, and we've got some players already there, like he wanted Bergwijn out Barcelona, yeah. And Bergwijn was ready. This football club is already someone who's like, I know he's got the injury now, but he's someone who's become sort of settled in the team. Like, if you look at some of the fielders he's got in the team now, yeah, I heard like Sam brought this point up the other day. Like, big up to him because like he brought out this is perfect. If you bring like Xavi as well, like people like Archie Gray as well, yeah, would learn so much more better of like a coach like a Xavi coach managing them as well. We'd get potentially more to see much more development in him potentially the midfielder as well. Like,
that's so much more just actually like learning from the man who actually can play the game. You know,
he played in that crap midfield with Iniesta and Busquets, didn't he?
no talent there.
He played 760. He knows football. He played 767 games for Barcelona.
Yeah, he's quality, man. If you look at Barcelona's team now, though, like you've got like Yamal, you've got like Fermin Lopez, you've got like Balde, you've got like Kabassi, you've got like you've got like 5 or 6 or 7 of their Gavi, you've got like 5 or 6 or 7 of their starting players, yeah, all got bought through from Xavi, from the La Masia Academy, yeah, that he's coached at Barcelona. The Hansi Flick, yeah, is now reaping the rewards of. Obviously, Hansi Flick's a great manager and a great coach, but he's reaping the rewards of players that Xavi brought through as well. Xavi's part of this Barcelona having their little upturn again. Like, Xavi obviously set the foundations for like, this little upturn, yeah? And now Hansi Flick is just taking Yamal, obviously, Yamal's just a special player anyway. Like, sometimes you just see a special player get blessed, and you're like, this guy's special. Like,
but on the Ange tenure thing, I mean, I think, Dan, that he had gone past the tipping point before the injured players come back. And in today's world, it's different. Back in the day, when football was a lot slower, it took players 5 or 6 games to get back into their stride, right? Nowadays, the game is so much faster that you've got to get that speed of thought back and make them decisions. And when they come back, players tend to be a bit more cautious with their passing. They're not doing what they're doing when they're at their very best. You know, the instinctive stuff and all that. It's like Sonny, for example. When he's on top form, you don't see him when he's got a lot of time on the ball and he thinks and he's not in form, he tends to do the wrong thing. When Sonny's more instinctive, when he's fresh and energetic, the Sonny looks good in the eye test, it's just automatic. Bang, it's in the net. It's not blasted over the bar or to the side. It's in there. And it's speed of thought is very important. When you watch these games, I mean, I'm higher up, but I've watched games at low level. And when you're at the level of the pitch, it is so fast, Dan. I mean, it is so fast. I mean, it's very easy to be a critic when you're in the stand, right? But it's so fast. But I think, Ange, he's had a perfect storm of things that could go wrong at this club. And I just think, like, it got past that point. I agree with you on the sense that, okay, when you've got all these injuries, let's be a bit more pragmatic around in the way we play the game. And he doesn't. But I ain't knocking him for his philosophy. He's stuck with it. But we haven't, like, when people have said, oh, inverted fullbacks, to me, I'm not. Look, if you believe that, that's fine. I'm not going to argue with someone else's opinion on that. Everything's opinions in football. To me, your doggy doesn't invert. Porro definitely does. And when Porro inverts, then that's fine. But then Johnson's isolated. Where's the overloads? When Porro and Decky used to play together, you had the overloads down to the right wing and a corner flag. I don't see that with a Porro and Johnson setup, even though Johnson's got 17 goals and 3 assists or whatever it is, or maybe more. Right? Don't see that. So, I mean, no. Ange should have adopted a more and we haven't. And
even when he got his players back, it's not like you can say it was just injuries.
Against Liverpool, when we got caught on the break, playing a bit higher, I haven't seen us parked on a high line for ages in many games. So I'm not having that. Now,
he definitely
if you're a fan, you don't like Ange as a manager, that's fair enough. But don't invent stuff about what he's doing. Oh, it's high line, it's inverted fullbacks. Because I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing the high line, the inverted fullbacks. What I have seen when players have come back from injuries, we've seen the press again. We've seen the press at the front. I've seen that part of his tactics. But I haven't seen, us like when you have the whole back four parked on the halfway line for.
We definitely did that early on in the season. I mean, I think you bring up the Liverpool match, but I remember seeing it at times. I mean, I think people do see kind of one thing happen a time or two, and then it gets stuck in their head. But yeah, I mean, you're right. The line does seem to have dropped back recently.
It does. I mean, we got caught at Newcastle away, didn't we? When forget the guy's name for Newcastle, got caught out on the left where you doggy was. and Romero was playing as left centre back, and VDV was right centre back, and I think it was it you, Doggy, playing everyone on side? I can't remember the team exactly.
Wait, Romero was on the left side. Was on the left side. That
he was playing at left centre back, way at Newcastle. Don't forget, we're only talking the first 2 or 3 games in the season. We should have won both of them games, Leicester and Newcastle, right? Because we were the better team on both days, but we give away a sloppy goal, didn't we? You know, we fell
Seems
asleep
like we do that against Newcastle a lot.
Yeah.
We definitely fall asleep against Newcastle quite often. I still have horror memories of the last match of the season. I don't remember even what year it was. Yeah, that one. They were already relegated, and they absolutely just trounced us.
Yeah, it's been too many this season.
Even when the players came back, you can't say it was just the injury crisis, because even as we got players back, the results didn't improve.
like you said, Colin, when they come back, it still continued. And that's my biggest alarm bell about this as well, because I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon to jump on this or anything, but people said, like, when some of these players come back, we'll start seeing some improvements. Basically, it's just got worse. If you think about it, if you think about from January, February, do you remember this little situation where it was like, they're coming back soon? They're going to start seeing, like, the only thing that's actually like stayed at a good level, is the Europa League campaign. Yeah, the Premier League campaign, has been a disaster. Like, it's been a disaster basically from what month? Really? From like October, November? Just a continuous disaster through the injury crisis, since the injury crisis. So that's where I look at this is alarming, because we've now created a proper losing mentality in the league, where like we've lost nearly as many games as Ipswich this season. I think how many games did Ipswich lost this season? Like maybe 20 or so. So like, my biggest problem about him staying here next season is this losing mentality is created in the league, domestic, and domestic's a big problem, because that's where you judge a manager. You can sort of judge a manager on winning the Europa League, but in a way, you get more lucky winning a cup competition than you do like winning it on pure quality. You have to have some luck winning that, In a 38-game season, to have a good season, you have to have that consistency. In a 38-game season, So that sort of shows you where you are more as a football club, how well you do in your league form. You can sort of judge where you are more, And where we are now is not good. Like, we can sort of scream our way to a Europa League. Even way us and Man United winning this Europa League, we're both still awful football clubs at the moment. Even one of us winning it, because like if you look at right now, that game's important for both football clubs, man. Because like both teams have like struggled in their league. Both teams can use that game as like as a platform to save their season. Man United could use it to get Champions League football from an awful season they've had, and Almiron can still win a trophy in his first season going there. And then we could use that as a platform to salvage this awful season we've had, and somehow still get Champions League football out this season. When we sort of look like we might need it for financial reasons as well, which I'm not happy about, man. Like, you're hearing like coming out the other day saying like, if we don't get like European football, this next 3-4 get like Europa League's going to sort of decide where we're going to be doing for the next three years in like the transfer market, So what's the big stadium about then? Why have we built this 65 capacity ground, You're telling me after 2 years, out of 3 years not being in Europe, now we're going to have to struggle to buy in a transfer market, No disrespect, we're not Norwich, That's what you do when you're a promoted club coming up to the Premier League. You struggle with a championship budget, I know Spurs have always lived with a bit with what they don't spend like the super crazy football clubs, But come on, man, we're not going to have any money to spend in the transfer market. We've got one of the biggest stadiums in England, That makes
we've got money to spend.
I was going to say, we've been consistently spending.
They're basically taking the mick out of us. It's like they're trying to like question like how thick we actually are. They honestly think we're going to buy that. That you're going to tell me that we're going to sit here in the summer, and you're going to do some drips and drabs, and we're going to fall for because you finished 17th, and didn't win the Europa League. So why didn't you sack Ange then? If it was going to get to a situation. Sorry, mate. If it was going to get to a situation, where you was so reliant on European football to have money for next season, why did you not sack Ange in December when the league season was going to Raiden?
It's not the money we spent.
All your eggs in the basket.
It's a question of fact. Leo, we have spent $1.027 billion since the stadium opened in 2019, right? I'm going to agree with you again, that. And we 699. They said in the last financial 700 million net. Okay, we had player sales. We got money for Kane. We got 16 million for Ericsson. we got 20 million each for, believe it or not, Skip and Wink. So that was good business, right? So
yeah, there's money there. I don't know.
So 700 million. So you divide out, you're talking about 120 odd million a year. We're in Europe most of those times as well. So even if you cut that down to a third or half, you only had 60 million this year. If you're looking to sell Romero, Basuma, Richarlison, you're spending more than the average 120 million a season anyway. And it's not that. It's not the value of the player as well, because you're only putting down payments on those players. And the rest is amortized over 5 years. Can't be 8 years. They changed the rule. So we can still have a decent transfer window. I can see us getting free players in, and then maybe players in on loans even, because we're not going to be challenging for no title for the next 2 or 3 transfer windows. We're not going to do it in January, coming out of this window, if we get 3. And we'll need the next summer's one. That's titles. Cups, domestic cups, 6 games, you win a trophy. 6 games. Luck of the draw and your form at the time, you win a trophy. Different than the Europa League or Champions League, because they're the same format. You got to play the 8 games and then go into the knockout stages, right? But But I mean, so yeah. I mean,
Leo.
Go on,
Leo's
Leo.
here. Leo, how's it going,
My
buddy? First of
homies.
all, just wanted to say, hey, thanks for jumping in, man. How have you been?
Yeah, chilling. Bro, my dog's been chilling all day, homie, but she just decided to start set tripping on these dogs that were walking by. So if she starts barking, I apologize.
No, you're good, man. You're good. I got the pup right here.
You know what it is, bro, is so my daughter, she's a bit sick, so she took the day off of school, and I just stayed home from work to watch my kiddo, and so I got some rare time to hop on a daytime stream, even though it's a bit later right now. So I just wanted to say big up to the homies. I seen that you were streaming, and I seen the link that Adrian put out. So of course I wanted to come and say what's up to you, homie. Personally, I hope everything's going good. I want to say big up to you and your family, homie. But look, I was kind of paying attention a bit to what you guys were talking about, and then I started getting like my tablet, my laptop ready, and then everything. So I kind of lost. I was kind of not paying attention to what you guys were talking about, but basically, what I'll use this opportunity to use this space and say is, because I don't really do much of this, if I'm honest with you. I just want to say, I was definitely, if I have to put a stance on it, because a lot of people kind of like ask you to put a stance on it, like I'm still Ange, and that's because like
side, sir.
Yeah, you know what it is, like even in the videos that I put out, like people are like, are you Anjin still, are you Anjin still? And I tried to like avoid the whole issue, because like I have my ups and downs just like everybody else, you know what I mean? But I still choose to back whoever is our manager right now. If Ange would have been sacked 4 months ago and it was Ryan Mason or insert name here, you know what I mean? Like I would be that person in. Just as faithfully as I am with Ange, and even so, right now, like I put a video out the other day about just how much this cup run means to me, and just a lot of people don't know, like I come from a background of addiction. Like I was an addict for 4.5 years, and I recently just celebrated my 4th year being free of the substance. And
Big up.
part I appreciate you guys. Part of that journey, a part of me being in my addiction was I missed the Ajax game, the Ajax games, you know what I mean?
Shit.
I missed the Manchester City games leading up to that. You guys will probably have some excellent memories of those games.
You didn't miss the Southampton game. I'll see you in the bar with your mates cheering every goal when you put your video up. Southampton are 5-0 away. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, well, that kind of plays into why I'm so gung ho about my just trying to be so positive, and like plenty of you guys will know exactly where you were at for that moment in your time, and like I don't, like I was so lost in the sauce that like I don't remember none of that. You know what I mean? I don't remember none of that, and to just be honest with you guys, like because I've already put it in my video, like the day that I got cleaned, was the night before the Manchester City final when we ended up losing
Yeah, right.
1-0, or I don't remember I don't remember how we lost, but um I went to jail, my homies. I got pulled over and I had drugs and I got like it started a whirlwind of like this path that I'm on now. You know what I mean? That day was the last time I did the drugs. You know what I mean? I've been a different person since then, and even now, like 4 years being away from that shit, I think my brain now is finally starting to comprehend the way things should be. And sorry, I'm not trying to put a damper on it, but the way I say
No,
say
man.
this,
Yeah.
I say that to
No,
say
big up,
this,
man.
like I'm riding this. This is my high. You know what I mean? Like making it this far in this cup for me is like a brand new experience. It's something that I'm gonna soak it up, my homies. Whether we win 1-0 against the toughest of opponents, or whether we smash them, my homies, I'm gonna celebrate every goal like it's probably the last one I'll ever be able to see.
It sounds like
Because
you went for an Andy Kaufman moment in Cheers when he used to say like ex drug. He said, "I can't remember the '60s." Like,
yeah, like, no, bro, like I'm serious, bro, and like, but Adrian, just think about it. Spurs in my life now is one of the most important things in my life, but it takes a back seat to plenty of things like my family, my
of
work,
course,
my
of course.
relationship, my wife. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just I don't know, man. Like ever since I started to ever since I got on the straight and narrow, like Spurs have had very high moments, and I've not been there when I was strung out. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't there to support them, and now that we have an opportunity
We're winning it. We're going to
to
win
raise
it.
a
I'm telling
trophy,
you. We're
yeah,
going to
you know
win
what I mean? Like I'm gonna be on my P's and Q's for every second of that game. You
Well,
know
let
what
me
I
tell
mean?
you
And I'm
one
gonna
thing, though.
know.
Don't put
Go
too
ahead,
much.
Mahovri.
So I was in kind of a bad spot, like mentally and with stuff going on in life when we made it to that Champions League final. And that was like literally everything to me. Like that was the
Yep.
only like good thing going for me at that time. And I put so much hope and so much, you know what I mean? And then to then go and lose. I don't know. It absolutely
Yeah, of
crushed me. So
course.
I guess I'm saying,
You
yeah,
know,
just
homie,
be ready for that if
that's a
it
good
happens.
point. You make a
Don't
good
fall.
point, bro. You make a very good point. But you know what it is, bro, is the defeat, if we end up not even making it, is okay, bro. Like it's all right, bro. Like my team can't let me down more than they've already let me down, bro. You know what I mean? And I've turned that
Absolutely.
page to like even in defeat, homie, like I hope our team just aims for the highest of highs. You know what I mean? And
my immune system is bulletproof regarding Spurs because I was supporting them when we got relegated in the 1976-77 season. Relegation.
You've
If you
seen it
can
all.
survive relegation and that heartache, you're going to survive any of this recent shit. Mind you,
True that.
we didn't have all the media attention and the toxicity that you've got now surrounding, and it's the same with every football club.
but there's
So
just something going on. Like there's just
I don't
something
like all
about
the
it.
hate.
That's
I
why
don't
that's
care.
why I've been
I don't
away.
feel hate, So
It's just been
I don't like it.
not too bright if everything around Spurs and the communities and stuff. It's just been kind of like a down time. And so
Yeah.
I've like been away for a while. But Leo, congrats, big up to you, man. David Clark's comment. He hasn't drank alcohol since the last day of 2018.
Big up, David.
And I
Big
haven't
up, my
for
homie.
I'm like 4 months and a couple days into my no alcohol journey, and that's going pretty good. So yeah, I totally.
I'm just getting back into it.
You know,
Hey,
my thing
have
now
one
is
for me, my man. Have one for me.
my thing now is like, look, there's definitely stuff that's legal and there's stuff that's illegal. You know what I mean? The stuff that is legal definitely is everything with moderation is okay.
For
Everything
sure,
in
yeah.
excess probably not okay. So
Even yeah. I mean, even
as
normal
long
things
as
in
we
excess
know,
are bad. So
yeah, you know what I mean. It's just so, of course, like I don't even like I drink like when I go to the pub, my homies, I enjoy having me a couple of beers, but that's just it. You know what I mean.
yeah.
Of course, and then I'm getting like older, bro. Any more than two, and like it just hurts my head.
Yeah.
But
No, I feel that absolutely, absolutely.
but look,
Yeah,
bro.
dude.
I was gonna say we have an opportunity of winning a trophy, bro. How are
We're
you feel
going to
about
win it.
that?
We're going to win it.
Yeah.
It's exciting, especially after that loss to Liverpool in the Champions League final. Like I said, that absolutely crushed me. Like I was obliterated. I cried kind of a lot, actually. And I broke a glass in a bar I was at too, and I got kicked out. It was definitely embarrassing. I've been back there since. It was actually the Nashville Tottenham Supporters Club. They've switched the bar that they use, so I felt like I could go back finally. But yeah, they not so politely asked me to leave. It wasn't a good day. It wasn't a good look. Yeah, I was heartbroken.
I've got a question for you, homies. Do you guys remember the Europa League final being midweek? Wasn't it a few years back? It used to be like a week before the final of the Champions League.
It was definitely before, but I can't remember if it was midweek or not. I know that the Europa League final happened before the Champions League final in previous years.
Yeah, it was like a week before, right? But I thought it was on the weekend. Somebody in the chat will have to know this.
But I think the Europa League has always been midweek.
But I thought the final they always moved. But
Dan, what do you think?
No, he's saying basically the week before the Champions, basically the weekend, and the Champions League final was on the weekend. That's what you mean. And why is it like 2 weeks before the Champions League final? Is that what you mean, Leo?
Yeah, he was just wondering if it was usually on the weekend or on a weekday, because it looks like it's midweek this year, right?
Yeah, well,
because
I swear it's usually always on. It's usually on a Wednesday or Thursday usually, but usually the final's usually 4 days before the Champions League final, and for some reason it's like 2-3 weeks. 2 or 3 weeks before.
Both finals I was at in 72 and 84 were midweek.
No. I'm saying because basically the Europa League finals on the 21st of May, and the Champions League finals on the 31st of May. So it's like another 10 days after. Yeah, so it's like basically the following week after the Champions League final is the FA Cup. Yeah. The FA Cup final is after the Europa League final. It's basically like the Europa League final is played before the end of the Premier League season, which is not usually how it usually is. That's strange. So I think it's all something to do with the World Club Championship, I think. It might be something to do with that, yeah, because they're all trying to fit in loads of tournaments before June, because the World Cup Championship starts in June, I think, yeah? I don't understand why you
had a lot to do with back in the day when there was a lot of football violence. It's still out there, but it's not in the UK now. It's been wiped out of all seats.
Oh, they put it midweek so that there wouldn't be as big of a crowd.
People have got to go work. They've got to get away from the grounds. They've got to get home. I thought it was. I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah. If anyone knows any different, say so. But I
know the Champions League final was mainly on Saturday, don't it? Champions League final was mainly on Saturday usually,
or a Sunday. I think the Champions League final,
yeah. Used to be Sunday.
I think the reason they did it on a Sunday was the fact that people have got to go work on the Monday or get home as well. So
used to be a Sunday, and it's got moved to Saturday in the last about 10, 15 years, I think. Yeah.
Interesting.
And most of the Euro, I know all the World Cup and Euro finals on a Sunday though. I presume the World Cup final next year's on a Sunday. Where is the World Cup final? What place is it? Where is the World Cup?
America, isn't it?
It might be probably like in
26 is in America. That's why Poch is out there.
No,
be America and Mexico.
No, I don't know where the final's at.
Is it shared?
No, I don't know where it's. Metro Arena? Is it the Metro Arena? No, I think
you could say the right answer, and I still wouldn't know. I just don't know.
I don't know either. I heard it's like in big realms or something. Yeah.
As much as I want to care about that, I just can't bring myself to really care that much. When it's all going on, it'll be good. And you know, I mean, I think that United States will probably do better than they maybe ever. You know, I mean, we're getting better all the time, but it's just hard for me to get excited for.
But this is sort of getting back to Leo. This sort of getting back to Leo's point a second ago, though, about the England and the World Cup. I'll sort of get so numb to Tottenham losing teams losing finals now. Yeah, this Europa League won't even. It will hurt, but it won't hurt me as much. I've seen like England lose 2 back-to-back Euro finals now. I've seen Tottenham lose the Champions League final in 2019. So the last 5-6 years, I've seen so many heartbreaks. I don't think another heartbreak can actually break me anymore, because that Euro final with Spain, I sort of expected us to lose the final. And when the final whistle happened, it was so much different emotion from the final when we lost against Italy, yeah? Because I sort of expected England to win that final.
How would you feel, Dan? How would you feel if how would you feel, different question, if at the end of the season, because I know the results of the charges that Man City have faced, 115 charges, but they turn around, give that points, give them a transfer embargo, relegate them, whatever they do, because don't forget, Everton and Forest got points deductions for minor transgressions, right?
That's a good point.
If they're guilty around they'll get hammered, and they were the same charges UEFA wanted to do them on a well. Some of the charges are, but UEFA have got a statute of limitations on their charges, whereas we don't have that in the Premier League, so we can do them, right? So they get done, and then like, what about all the clubs that have lost to Man City in a final, right? Are they now going to go and sue them? They're going to sue them. Are Spurs going to say, I wouldn't want it, right? I know they beat the League Cup final 1-0. I wouldn't want to nick a trophy on that basis.
I'll take it. Actually, fuck it. I'm going to be petty. I'm going to be petty.
Well, Raven said he would take it. I wouldn't.
Add it to the list, baby.
That's just opinions.
Yeah. No, I would.
You see about the Europa? Can we win the Europa League? Yeah, we can win it. Yeah, because basically we're in a situation now where there's 2 games left to potentially win this trophy. But even if we haven't played this season well, now we're in a situation now where we can win this competition. Even without Maddison, I'm less confident in what I was with Maddison being fit than what I was, say, 24 hours ago. But we've got a 2-goal lead out. If we can, like, it's the game against Man United where you're going to miss Maddison more, yeah, because you can probably go to Bodo Glimt and you can probably grind out a 2-goal victory and probably get through this tie still without Maddison. But it's the final now, yeah. That's where it's like more of a 50-50 now without Maddison. If we had Maddison against Man United, I'll be ultra confident we're going to beat Man United, yeah, because we've shown in the 3 games this season that they struggle to play against someone like Maddison, yeah. But now we're going to have to find another solution because say Kulu doesn't hit the ground running between now and the final.
He doesn't look like he's on it right now.
Yeah, he's not hitting the ground running, is he? So I'm saying about if we can get past Bodo at the weekend, get past Bodo on the Thursday, stick Mikey Moore the number 10 for the last 3 games of the season, yeah, Ange, and then see if it works. If it don't work, yeah, then you've tried for the last 3 games and you put Kulu back in the number 10 for the final. If you've seen some sort of forming in there, you never know, man. You might have cracked something here, yeah.
What do you think?
I'm sort of one person who criticises Ange, yeah? So if there's one time he's going to prove me wrong, yeah, this will be the time to do it. This will be the perfect time to do it, yeah? Because you've got to a situation now where Maddison's become a very vital player, yeah, for us again in the last month or 2, yeah, where we're starting to look at him now. He's out of the team. We're starting to worry about now how we're going to win this final or semi-final now against Bodo. It's all hitting crisis situation again. So you're hitting now, you look about. If Kula is struggling in the team, this is where you look at it now, Ange. If you can find a solution to get us over the line to win this semi-final and this final, yeah, this is where you sort of, you don't prove us 100% wrong, but you prove people, yeah, you can find solutions, yeah, in big situations when we need you to step up. That's the sort of things that Spurs fans are going to look at more as well. Like someone like me will have to then hold my hands up, yeah, and say, Ange, you delivered, yeah, when I was even struggling to think of a solution. So obviously he's the manager, so of course he's going to know the solutions more than us. I'm in my head thinking, what's he do after Kulu? Maybe Mikey Moore. But if he can think of a solution where we can get away with not having Maddison injured for the rest of the season and we still win this Europa League, I'll hold my hands up, yeah, and say he's done well in the rest of this season, yeah, in getting us over the line and win us this Europa League. Because now winning this Europa League has become 10% more difficult now about James Maddison, yeah. So if he does win it now without him, you have to hold your hands up and say, yeah, fair play. Yeah, because he's lost his most great spark in his team. He's lost Bergvall. He's lost Bergvall as well. He potentially lost Maddison, yeah. So now you look at it and you're like, fair play, yeah. He's lost two of his better midfielders as well. And he sort of had to bring back an out of form Basuma and get Basuma playing well again. And he sort of managed to. I'm not going to like. I told you, Colin, the reason why he has to go in my eyes is because of like the too many alarm bells around the second season. Yeah, if he can win the Europa League from the situation we're in now, I'll hold my hands up and give credit to him. Because not only is he doing it, he's winning up the trophy, but he's doing it now when he's just lost his best creative spark in his team as well. He's got to sort of find a solution to get us over the line now in these very important games.
We have got 13 days from Thursday. 13 days.
Yeah.
We don't know the extent of Maddison's injury. Obviously, it's been overhyped, his season-ending injury and all that. We don't know that yet, right? It's bank holiday in here in England today, so we'll know by tomorrow probably if it is that sort of injury or before the press conference. Anne's presser might be Wednesday. We'll know then, right? He's obviously not playing Thursday away. But the other thing I wanted to mention was the fact that, like, we get to the final. It looks like we play Man United, right? On the Friday before the Sunday, we're due to play Villa away. Man United got a league game, right? So we're supposed to play on the Sunday, which we're trying to change, and Villa have objected to it. Fair enough, right? Because they will have 2 extra days rest on us. So we've got the Premier League and say we want this game changed. We know if it's not changed, we'll just play all the kids. So it won't It won't, and we will. And if we go to Villa and we lose 7 or 8-0, no one will give a shit because we're in the final, right? But my argument is it's the integrity of the game in the Premier League. If we were to do that, why Villa want that game played then? Because they're challenging for a Champions League spot or a top European spot, and how it affects other teams in the Premier League. This is what pisses me off with the Premier League. And the
why do other leagues assist their teams?
They do in Europe. They do. They give them all a week off. They give them a week off before a final. Yeah.
Also, I was going to say it's really weird that the UEFA like posted this 2 hours ago, or it's actually been more than 2 hours ago now. But that's weird. I thought that I'm like, are they just being dickheads on purpose? Like they posted this while Madison's clearly injured and it's looking bad, and they just. I don't know. I thought that was weird. I didn't know if I was reading something into nothing.
You see what they've done in Norway, though? They literally gave Bodo the weekend off.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Didn't have to play this weekend game. Yeah, right. It's the only game got cancelled in Norway. It's the only match that got cancelled in Norway specifically, because they could be the first ever Norwegian team to get to a European final. So they've literally given them the weekend off. That's how you know how serious they are about this. It's basically they're not just doing it for Bodo Glimt. They're doing it for the whole of Scandinavia, basically. If you think about it, I think they're the first ever Scandinavian Norwegian team, maybe even from that part of the world, to get to a European final. That's when you sort of show how the FA treats their teams when they're on the verge of getting to a European final. You know what I mean? Like, so when you look at what the FA do, it's a bloody joke. What they do over here.
Sure.
They always put England in a worse situation going into major tournaments as well, because they never have winter breaks over here. Every other country has that. So basically, our players are playing in the all year round most of the time when they go into major tournaments. So they're knackered by the time it gets to a major tournament. So that affects England in major tournaments as well. The FA are just a joke. They basically took for money purposes. It basically it stops the England national teams and the club teams from doing better in Europe. Because they don't want to lose their TV games and all this sort of stuff. How they should have found a way around. Basically, they should have found a way around making Man United and Spurs game equal. They want both their teams in the final, and they want that to be an all English final. So that's good for English football as well. Because you're not going to have an all English final in the Champions League. So it don't make no sense. But even Spain, when Real Madrid or Barcelona gets to a final, they at least need them like a day off or 2 days extra day rest from like the team they're playing in Europe. And that's a Spanish league, and that's a top league as well. So why can't the English league do it? You know what I mean? It seems to be a problem.
It doesn't make any sense to me. That's for sure.
I've never got over it, Dan. I totally agree, right? So what if you extend the league another week? The Premier League, what difference does it make? You've got to be so rigid with your rules that we're in control, that we have to.
Does it have something to do with TV? TV rights?
TV. Do you remember when they stitched this up? When Arsenal complained about COVID for having one player out with COVID, we had about 5.
God, don't remind me. I forgot about that. I'd already calmed down.
Then we came to the stadium. They came to our stadium. The Liverpool game was put back, and they pumped that Arsenal game in next to a Liverpool game, right? You couldn't have 2 other fixtures. But we spanked Arsenal 3-0 because Holding got sent off, right? And I think we lost the game to Liverpool. And we were stitched up. They've stitched this club up so many times in the past, I'm telling you, right? And like, we should be entitled to a week's break. If Man United have got that Friday off and they go round to the Wednesday and they're in the final, they've had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, play on a Wednesday, 5 days rest. If we play on a Sunday, with Monday, Tuesday, with 3 days rest. That's not on. That's not fair.
The thing though is I mean, as much as we want to bitch and complain about it, we're talking about a situation that's if we make it to the final, which of course I feel like we will, but that's just what's going to make it even sweeter at the end of the day, my homies. You know what I mean? Just everything getting stacked up against you. The Premier League, of course, doing that, I want to say that's some hater shit. They should definitely be looking out for their clubs. Not only do they have the opportunity of one of their clubs being in the final, but they have the opportunity of 2 clubs being in the final. And all these other countries that the homie, and you have to forgive me, his name is Dan?
Yeah, Daniel,
Yeah, Dan.
Sorry, I didn't introduce
you're right, bro.
That's very rude of me.
No, it's cool, bro. I you know what? I don't mean to be rude, bro, but I don't pay attention to a lot of Spurs content, homie. I really don't. I don't even know who's who. I really don't know who's who. I'm so checked out, homie, that I couldn't even tell you what's wrong with James Madison. I couldn't even tell you what's wrong with Lucas Bergvall. I just heard the same shit that maybe they're out for the rest of the season. It's panic time. All this negative Nancy shit that, you know, just kind of makes me turn it off, bro. I don't buy into that shit. That just so happens to be the circumstances. Look, James Madison is as inconsistent as anybody else, my homie. So if he's at the final or not, I know recently he's been playing pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, he's been playing pretty good. He always has a very good game inside of him, but just on the flip side, he has that bozo gene and that he's got that knack to disappear. So I don't even know which James Madison. And in the pub here in Denver, every time we go through the lineups, my joke with the homies is, you know, all right, James is in the lineup. Which one are we gonna see? Are we gonna see James Madison? Or are we gonna see James Madison? You know what I mean? When we see James Madison, then I know we have a very good game, because that's just a fact, right, my homies? When he's on his game, we have an excellent performance.
Yeah,
but
he can disappear
when he's shit and he's disappearing, that's exactly right. That's the same with anybody else, bro. So this is just another hurdle that I feel like we have to get over. And of course, like, yeah, you want to have all of these players available, because I will say, like, these past recent games, when we've seen the substitutions and we see the player coming on, you're like, damn, like we've got some depth. Like, we've got players to come off of the bench that make you feel good about, you know, the depth and the lineup. So and then I see Son's name in the comment for some reason. Like, I'm so checked out, homie. I don't even know what's wrong with Heung-Min Son. You know what I mean? So
foot injury, I'm pretty sure.
One second.
Well, I just posted the stats, guys, in there. If you look at the stats I posted on these players.
I think that David just said 1 second about that David said about the Champions League winners.
Yeah.
It's true that it could be facts that they've won it, David, yeah? That doesn't mean it's still good that the FA do it. That's what I'm trying to say. Just because they won the Champions League, that still don't mean that the FA not giving them extra days off when you see the Norwegian league letting the Bodo Glimt have the whole weekend off, yeah? That's still what I'm trying to say. So just because Man City and Chelsea and Liverpool won the Champions League, yeah, that still don't take away from the fact that the FA is still doing that. That's what I'm trying to say. They're still
they're definitely not helping.
They're still putting them at a little bit of a disadvantage by doing it in the first. They're putting them at a little bit of a disadvantage by doing it in the first place. That's what I'm trying to say. So like, they might have won. Yeah, they might have won it, but they're still putting them at a bit of a disadvantage by doing it. And if you just obviously, yeah, fair enough. But obviously, if you look over the last 15, 20 years, how many times have they been won by Spanish club? Real Madrid have probably won how many in that period as well? How many has Sevilla won, like Europa Leagues as well? So like, there's no coincidence that these teams who seem to favour letting their teams have a little bit extra risk period during these big games do better. Obviously, English clubs are one of the better teams in Europe as well. There's notorious that Spanish clubs are the best team in the last 20, 30 years in Europe. Especially Real Madrid.
I got to big up Tony. I got to
Sevilla.
Big up Tony.
Is that Tony?
Yeah. Yep.
Changed his name. I didn't even realize that's Tony.
Yeah, it took me a second to realize too, but I'm 99% sure that's him. I think.
I figured it was. I just figured it was him. Yeah, as well, Tony.
Yeah, big up. I definitely wasn't talking shit about West Ham earlier. Definitely not. That wasn't me. But no, big up, man. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, no, Dan, for sure. I don't understand why. I mean, we could go on about this for a long time. I don't know if I want to, but like, yeah, I don't understand why they wouldn't assist. I mean, it looks good for the Premier League to have teams win these major competitions, right? So why wouldn't you do everything you could?
It's not just money, homie. It's just the money, homie.
Colin, is it? I mean, like, sorry to interrupt. It's all right. I mean, like, Puppy Named Oz makes a good point. This season's over. How many days off do you want? I get that, right? I get that. Good comment, but bear in mind, supposing we were a Liverpool or a Man City or an Arsenal doing a lot better, suppose we were still going for the league, suppose we were in, we still, we had other competitions like the league that we're going to win. It wasn't won now by Liverpool as it has been, right? Then it's a big difference. It's a big difference. And as fans, we pay good money to what we want to see, good football. If players are knackered, right, you don't get to see. If you go and see a show in the West End or on Broadway, you can read the reviews. You always know you're going to see a good show because the reviews are there. With football, you never know what you're going to get. You're going to play a lot of money and you might see a heap of shit, right? So it's different. So we're entitled to see the best we can possibly see because of the money we pay to watch these games, as far as I'm concerned. So I get where
Hype's got a good
from.
comment here, though. He says Villa didn't agree to have the match moved, and so that's
Yeah, I get
why.
it.
Yeah, well, they're going for Champions League, aren't they? They'd obviously they know straight away we're going to play a week. If that game's played on Sunday, we're playing the kids. They're going to win that game. They might need them 3 points to clinch it.
They're entitled to say no as well. You know what I mean? Like they have every right to say no. Screw you. We're playing that game, which is a shitty thing for them to do, because if it was, the reverse, if the what's the saying? Like if
they
the roles were
probably
reversed,
just think right. They probably just think we'd screw them.
they'd
in
want
the same way.
Yeah.
And yet, homie and Dan and you guys, if Sky said tomorrow there's a few clashes, Spurs are doing well in the league, or this team's doing well in the league, and these two teams are going to meet, and we weren't going to have them on TV, but now we're switching a game from Saturday to Monday in the evening, them clubs are not arguing about the fixture being changed because Sky pump a lot of money into the game. So they're not arguing. But now Villa up. No, I get it. They're entitled to. They can't say, no, we don't want to switch it.
Money, though. That's the most important thing that you said.
We'd do the same. We'd do the same.
Yeah. And there's so much money in it. I don't know if they lose money by changing the schedules or whatever. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But yeah, it's definitely money is the root of everything, I feel like.
Yeah, I do understand Villa's point. Obviously, their best interest at heart as well. They're still going for Europe. So if they're going to have to try and fit it in their calendar, it might not work out to their advantage. So I can see where they're coming from. But I just feel like the Premier League could have found a little date in the calendar where it could have worked out for both clubs, where they could have come to like. I do believe Villa are maybe are scumbags, yeah, but I do believe in their heart that maybe if they would have been able to find a way around it to work out to both teams' advantages, where it could have worked out for both on a certain date, that Villa would agree to it. In my mind, it's probably just Spurs are coming from a certain date they can only do it on, yeah, and if Villa are like that, it don't work out to our advantage at all to do it on this date, which is completely understandable, yeah. So like, that's the thing that's just annoyed, maybe it's annoyed me a little bit about it as well. Like, but you just have to stay, like Leo said, you have to go to a final. You just have to take what cards get dealt with you. Yeah, just go into the final at the end of the day. Like, if you don't have Maddison, so be it. Like, we might have to find a solution to win the final without Maddison. But it's not like.
And I mean, Kulu could step up. Kulu could absolutely.
Yeah, like you can step up. But when you look at these two teams, yeah, it's not like we're going to a final against Real Madrid. Obviously, Real Madrid haven't been great this season. I need someone better, like Inter Milan or Barcelona or anything. Yeah, we're going in there against Man United, yeah, who have also been terrible this season as well, like Tottenham. Yeah, we've both been awful in the Premier League. Let's be honest, yeah. We're both not great sides at the moment, yeah. So we could easily turn up to this final against Man United, and they could easily not show up on the day. There's probably more chance that Man United could show up on the day because their recent history in finals, yeah. But if you look at their team, that's a very mishmash, a very out of inconsistent players in Man United starting 11, yeah. They could easily show up in that final, even without Maddison, yeah, and we could still win this final. That's what it's like. You look at this final, it's what I'm saying. So it's not like Maddison's out the final. Out. Also, we get past Bodo, yeah. My motto is we get past Bodo, and then we worry about this Maddison situation when we get to this final against Man United. Just get through Bodo, and then let's see where we're going to be in 2 weeks' time, yeah, and try and find a solution to then how we get into this final. That's the best way of looking at the moment as a Spurs fan, yeah. Let's get into this final, and then worry, and then we worry about the Maddison situation after, because right now we just have to navigate this Bodo game. That's the best way of looking at it.
As you alluded to earlier, by then it's 13 days. The 8th we play the Thursday, then it's on a Wednesday is the final. Within them 2 weeks, I don't know what the fixtures are. I know we've still got to play Brighton, Villa and Palace, right? But if you've got a game or two then we might be feeling better if we played Mikey Moore as a 10, we played someone else and it's worked out well. I think we're looking too far ahead to be worried about it. We'll get through because we can lose 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 in Norway and still go through. They have to beat us by 2 clear goals, right? We can lose games. We know if we draw or we win, we were through anyway. So I think we're in a we're at 90% chance of going through. Barring something stupid happening, like a player getting sent off or some crap like that, that happens in football. These weird things that happen. It's not happening, no. It's not happening. So there are names on this.
If you look at Man United down there as well, they've just lost. I know De Ligt's got injured for them as well. So I'm not wishing injuries on other teams as well, but there's no guarantee that Man United don't get a couple of injuries before this final as well. You never know. I know they're probably going to rest players as well. but they've still got to play
Mm.
Bilbao in the second leg as well. And you're never going to come back.
Right. That's definitely not over.
Game.
We could be looking at this in a totally different light and be thinking we've got to prepare for Bilbao. And
there are some strange similarities in '84. When we won it in '84, although Perrin won 2 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, 2 UEFA Cups in his 14 years at Spurs, he was actually suspended for the second leg. Our captain, who played 854 games for his club, was suspended. We won it on penalties, right? And I actually thought Anderlecht were the better side over the 2 games personally, but that team knew how to win. They knew how to get across the line, and that was the difference. And yeah, I mean, like, we went at the game thinking we're at home, home advantage, but we knew then it was going to be very tight. And we missed the penalty. Danny Thomas missed the penalty. And the remarkable thing was the whole crowd saying there's only one Danny Thomas, which was fucking amazing.
That would never happen these days. I don't think that would happen.
No, what happened nowadays, he'd get all the abuse on toxicity on like every form of media going. He'd get death threats and all that other shit and crap. Like,
Leo would be singing for him.
Players should be banned from being involved in social media. Personally, I think they should stay away from it. Because I believe it.
Finals, regardless of who you go up against, are just a different. They're just a different game. Like even at the pub, we talk about it a lot because even to get to the final is going to be tough. We still have to go to Bodo, which is not a pushover game by no means. You know what I mean? And then the final in itself against Manchester United, or we're still, I mean, not going to count out Bilbao, right? Even it's a tough uphill that they have to climb, but it's still doable. If anything, we've learned from Manchester United is, just as they could have a good game, they could just shit the bed just as well as we can. You know what I mean? So, so just look at it this way: if we go and play against Manchester United, they're going to be up for it. Their fans are going to be up for it. And then, even if you go against Bilbao, they may have somewhat of the home field advantage because it's going to be in their place, right? That does go into play. But the amount of people that are there are not just going to be Bilbao fans. It'll be a mix of both. Plus, a majority of them would be like corporate people and stuff like that. So it is like in their home ground. It wouldn't be necessarily a home game, but it would be advantage for them. So either way, my homies, this is going to be a tough one. But just how much, Colin, would the Spurs faithful come into play if we made it to the final there? Like, how loud would you expect our fans to be, bro?
And we've beaten Man United 3 times this season, and if we beat them again, we get to keep them, right?
Is that the rules? Is that the rules?
Yeah, we get
whoever we want.
No, they're ours then, because Manchester's already white. We spanked Man City and Man United away from home, right? 3-0 and 4-0. Right, Manchester's white, mate. It's not red or blue. It's white.
Do we get first pick of Bruno Fernandes if we win? Just kidding. I can't decide if I actually would want him or not. He's a good player, but I kind of hate him at the same time. You can't deny he's kind of a good player.
Sorry, mate. A little stat about Spurs win Europa League. Just I see it the other day. If we win Europa League, we become the joint most successful ever British team in Europa League, with 3 with Liverpool. No English team has won. Only Liverpool won 3. We've won 2. So if we get third, we'll be the joint most successful ever English British team with 3 Europa Leagues. Arsenal won 0. We would have won 3. So like Liverpool have won the most. That's mad. Liverpool won the most Champions Leagues as a British team, and they've won the most Europa Leagues as a British team. But Liverpool have a lot of history of the football club. It's actually mad, like actually how successful.
I always like. I'm
the most league titles as well.
I'm a positive fan. I always give it the positive vibes. And the reason I do it is, I mean, you're either glass half empty or half full. I get that with fans. And don't get me wrong, I'm going to be as nervous as the next fan in a final. Of course you are. It's exciting. That's what the Jeopardy is about, isn't it? I mean, that's why you go. It's like the thrill. It's like going to a horror film and being scared out your wits. You know what you're going to get, right? But you know it, right? And like, to me, the reason I'm positive is because I know that if we win, great. If we lose, right, then like I'll feel the same difference if we lost as when I lose to any game of football. So I might as well be positive. To me, what's the point of being negative, right? Because the result will be what it will be at the end of the day. And that's why I've always been more of a positive fan. I've always said to people when they say to me, like, And even if I've been accused of being delusional, I mean, I'm fortunate enough. I live 1.5 miles from the ground, right? I'm a season ticket holder, right? So, and people ask me this question.
Are you bragging? Because we'd like to be season ticket holders too,
Of
Adrian.
course. Listen, and to tell you what, you fans are better fans than me, in my opinion, because people that are abroad that support this club and get up every odd hour of the day to watch it. When I get to watch these games at a more civilized time, right? So it's different for me, right? And I've asked this question loads of times. I used to be on a radio show and stuff like that back in the day and all that regularly on a Mondays and things like that. And like I said, well, what's it with you and all that? And I said, well, I'm not backing against my team. And they go, what? Even when you know they're better than you if you're playing Real Madrid? I said, look, I'm not leaving my front door and going to a game at my stadium if I think we're going to lose the game. And that's why I'm always more positive. Now, away games are different, right? But at home, I expect to win. The only 2 seasons I know we've gone at home, we've not lost throughout a season. I think the 64-65 season. And funny enough, the last season at the old stadium, which was like an omen, really, before we had to play at Wembley. 2 seasons, I think,
season.
we went undefeated. I don't know about pre-1900s, right, or whatever, but they're the
Wait,
two.
you weren't there? You were there. Why don't you know?
What, 64-65 season?
No, I'm talking pre-1900s. You're an old guy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just being
I
me.
knew ageism would come into the show because it tends to come in every show.
I was just waiting for the perfect time to sneak my jab in. Hey, I wanted to big up Lee Smithy Smith in the chat. Big up Smithy. Haven't seen you
big
for a
up
while.
Smithy, mate.
Yep.
Hope you're well, buddy. And Adrian, you know we love you, even though you're old as dirt, buddy. We still love you.
The last time I see Smith was in the fan zone after a game. I can't remember what game it was now, but it was a while back.
Smithy, I hope you and the fam are good, bro. It's good to see you, man. Guys, before I want to get this wrapped up pretty soon, just because I'm sleepy. But I wanted to ask Leo this question too. With the, we've seen Richarlison play lately, and I think Richarlison's been looking good. Well, I don't know what you think about Dominic Solanke. I don't. I love his celebrations. I'm an anime nerd, so all his anime themed celebrations kind of get me going. But I just wanted to ask you about this. And I know that a lot of people, it seemed like they've given up on Richarlison, but now that he seems to be able to like hold himself together for more than 45 minutes, he's played a bit. He's played multiple matches in a row. Honestly, who do you prefer?
I honestly like the way we did it last game, where we played Richarlison out. What was it? A bit more on the left-handed side.
Yeah.
I honestly, if we could find a way to do that again, I'm all for that, bro. I honestly think that Richarlison has a lot to prove to fans and to prove to himself. Like, he hasn't really it's a shitty thing. It's not a shitty thing, but I'm just gonna say, like, Richarlison just hasn't really filled the expectations or lived up to the expectations, probably both placed on by himself and by us fans, you know what I mean, because he's definitely got the potential. And then you see a player like Solanke, who I guess you could say has been doing it a bit more on this level. At Bournemouth, he was their leading goal scorer for a bit, and then you see both of them just kind of maybe struggling at Spurs. So have they really found their feet? I don't know. But I do know that what I seen this last game from both of them together on the pitch, I wouldn't mind seeing that again, my homies. I don't really
the physicality of what they both offer, I think, was insane. Like, that was, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I loved it. I mean, we
Richie was
out physical them for sure.
Yeah. Richie was sending in some good crosses into the box, and not only that, when the crosses were being sent into the box, Richie was there to look for them as well. So if we can definitely find a way to use both of these players, I'm sorry to bring in the Colorado Rapids to this, but the Rapids manager has recently made a change where he's been starting to use two strikers, not two strikers, but something similar to that, using kind of a dual partnership like that. And it's something that we don't see too much of anymore in the Premier League, especially is like the old, the old 4-4-2 type lineups with like the partnership of strikers up top. So, I mean, look, if
Yeah.
they could find a good way to use it, my homies, then I'm all for it. I'm a fan of entertainment. Like I want to see goals. Richie, for me, is a player that wants to score goals. So put him on the pitch. Solanke, for me, is a player that scores goals. He looks for positions to be in. Solanke's off the ball movement needs to go noticed as well. Like a lot of what we do is key to having Solanke kind of drop back and build the play up as well, laying it off to people like Richarlison if he's going to be there to pick it up. So yeah, bro. I don't want to pick either. Or I don't want to pick any one over the other, bro. For me, it's figure out how to get both of them on the pitch to score goals at the same time.
They both offer something
I
so
can
different.
see both of them. I can see Richarlison starting on the left. That wouldn't surprise me. I mean,
He
he did
didn't
it
look
in the home
bad.
game, and I
He
can see
didn't look
He's
out of
hungry.
place.
physicality.
He's so
because
hungry.
They're very energetic, aren't they? And physical as well. But they didn't lay a glove on us in that game. They had one shot in the first half, right at the end of the 95th minute or something what it was, and they scored that goal, which was a deflection. Apart from that, even when they had the ball, they didn't lay a glove on us, and we should have won by 4 or 5 or 6.
They will have their orchestrator back there, Adrian. They will have their orchestrator back on Thursday. They will have their orchestrator back on Thursday in Berg.
Yeah, the
So that
captain.
offers them a bit. Yeah, that offers them a bit of a different. You'll see a bit of a different way they play completely on Thursday because he's definitely he's a big player for them. But obviously, the Thursday game is going to be a different thing for us to face than obviously what we faced last Thursday. Like we're not going to have like this much domination of what we did have last Thursday. So like my biggest fear about last Thursday is I feel like there was an opportunity there to really put the game to bed on Thursday. That's what sort of peeved me off a little bit about it. Because I sort of expected both
Yeah, I
to
mean,
be
I was at the ground.
I was thinking we would score at least 4 as after
Yeah.
with the start that we had to the game.
I
So
thought
yeah,
it might
I
have been a
agree.
little bit better than that, Bodo, on the night. Obviously, I thought they were going to be a bit bad away from home here, but I didn't think they were going to be like that beatable, and I thought they were there for the taking.
How-
You see when
They're missing at least 2
I
starters, right?
see us winning out there, to be honest. I mean, like, I
Yeah,
really do.
when it was 3-0 though, I felt like there was a little period where like they slowed the tempo down, Spurs. Yeah, and I thought it sort of mirrored when Madison went off as well. But like, I thought we could have like got the 4th or 5th. I was looking outside thinking this could finish 4-5-0. Yeah, we could have had that sewn up like on Thursday. So we've just left the door open ajar for Bodo going into the second leg. So that's where like this is what giving Bodo a little bit of hope. Yeah, obviously look, with their players coming back, but a Premier League team, yeah. Obviously not any Premier League team, but a decent. We're not having a great season, but if you look at this, I told you about earlier. Like, if we're smart, we should be able to a couple times. There's going to be a couple times in this game where there's going to be passages to play where we can pick them in transition. Yeah, and their defense is not great. They still
They're a very
goals against
pragmatic, hard-working side.
They're
Now,
very regimented as well.
I don't know how better they are. I mean, I know they give Lazio a game, and all that, but Lazio haven't been brilliant recently. I mean, neither have we, right? But I don't know how much difference. I mean, it's not just their captain. The guy that plays alongside in midfield was also suspended, and the striker was suspended because he got sent off against Lazio. So they got 3 of those back, right? Well, we'll see. I mean, like it depends how Ange goes to this game. Like I say, we got a 2-goal lead. We can lose by the odd goal. We could lose 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 and still go through. So knowing that, I don't think we're going to be gung-ho. I think we'll look to hit them on the break. And I think we can hurt them because they're going to have to come at us. And they couldn't really come at us that much in the game at White Hart Lane. And we picked them off. We got in good chances and we should have scored more goals, right? They're going to have to do the same again, right? And like, I just think we're going to pick them off. I fancy us going there and winning 2-0, 2-1, personally.
I can't see us keeping a clean sheet over there. That's one thing I don't think is going to happen. I think they're definitely going to get like the way that obviously the way that you got to realise this is the sort of game.
I think we'll score first.
I
think we'll score first. We're not just nothing out of them.
This is a ground that plays more into their play is more suited for this style pitch. That's why they specifically have this game. This is why obviously they have so many good results at their home ground, specifically to their away ground, because their football specifically
to
this plastic pitch.
On the training ground.
Yeah, they've obviously
they've millions on it.
Yeah, obviously I'm trying to say they found a way around obviously where they've been able to get a pitch. They've got really used to it, and a lot of teams struggle when they go there. obviously, but if you look at it like, if you look at some of their results, they've lost this season against Karabag in the Europa League. Yeah, obviously we played Karabag early in the season. We beat them. Yeah, if you look at the Karabag game, yeah, Karabag caught them in transition a couple of times on the counter attack. Yeah, 1-1-0. They were under the animal a lot. Yeah, they had to grind out the win. Yeah, and really probably scam the win, but they still got the job done. They're vulnerable at times, Bodo Glimt, yeah, and I really feel like a Premier League side will punish them. That's what I'm trying to say. My realistic mind here is like in the 3 years they've played in this full period where they've won 30 games and 37 at home. Yeah, they've not played any Premier League teams. They've played decent teams in Europe, but it seems like from Greece. The best team they played probably from Italy in that entire time is probably like the Lazio or Roma. They smashed Roma 6-1. Yeah, the Roma game 6-1 is when I started taking a bit of notice of them. Yeah. Because I was like, what the hell? Why just Mourinho's team got smashed 6-1 away from home in Europe, yeah? And I was like, that's a bit of a weird result. And I just like noticed them from like 2022. I've looked at their results. At home, they're a different side than they are away, yeah? Like
in the last 6 seasons, they've won 4 league titles and come second twice. Not consecutive, the wins, but they've won 4 and two second places. But no disrespect to Norway, it's the Norwegian league, obviously.
Yeah.
And like,
I don't want to be like that.
It's sort of like, do you remember when we played on at White Hart Lane, we played on a pitch that was like considerably smaller than most other pitches in the league, or maybe not most, but a lot. And then when we got our new, in the new stadium, the pitch was bigger. It seemed like, to me, we had a hard time adapting to that. I think the size of the pitch at White Hart Lane, correct me somebody if I'm wrong, was smaller than you're allowed to have them be now. But since it was made before they made the rule, they let us have it. I don't know. I guess it's probably similar to that with Bodo at their place.
It's not just Bodo, Colin, is it? I mean, when no European team likes playing a Premier League side, no matter what division they're in, because we always match them for physicality. I mean, we're not saying like Barcelona and Real Madrid are not going to come in and beat our teams, but they still don't like playing us because they know they're going to be in for a fucking tough bite. It's gonna happen. And so the reason I understand why the British teams at Bodo Glimt have never won against a British side, right? And the reason is simple.
We can match. Please, I didn't want to hear that. That's jinxing.
We more than match them. I mean, like we more than match them at home, and we just got to show that we just got to apply ourselves the same way again, and we'll get through. I think we're going to win out there 2-0, 2-1. I think.
Oh yeah, we're going to go through the final. I have no doubt.
Yeah, the way you have to look at it, they're in the semi-final, based on one of the main reasons why they're in the semi-final is because of that home pitch. But they probably wouldn't be in the semi-final, if they didn't have such a good home record. So that's the reason why people have to obviously be a bit wary about them when they play at home, because not many years with a Norwegian team, be in a European semi-final. So they've obviously made that home ground a bit of a fortress, in Europe this season, other than that Karabag game. So that's where a lot of people are getting a little bit worried about the Bodo Glimt game. But if you look at realistically, a Tottenham team, on their day, put the Premier League form to the side and put the European form to a bit. We went to Frankfurt, we done a professional job and got a result, and kept a clean sheet, A Tottenham team should be able to do a professional job and get to Bodo Glimt and get out of there, Only losing by at least 1 goal and getting through to the next round of the Europa League. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
No doubt.
They're professional players at the end of the day. Yeah.
For me, Dan, we should go there and win. Not get a draw.
Yeah, we should go there and win. But you look at it at the end of the day, we should not be going out of Bodo, with like a 2-0 loss or a 3-1 loss, and that this is like we've been going to extra time. We should only be losing this game by like, if we lose it should only be like a 1 goal, like a 1-0 or a 2-1 or something like that. We should have enough to get through this tie and get into the final. But if it was 3-0, it would probably be done and dusted, because if Bodo come out and play, we could just hit with 1 goal, the tie's done. Even if we hit them with 1 goal here, is it necessarily done because they can still hit 3? I think it probably is, But then, like my motto is like, it's just about how Spurs, like, if we concede early in this game, that's when it gets a bit sketchy. If we handle the first 25, 30 minutes well, and it's still 0-0, and they have to come out even more and get desperate, that's where I think Spurs are going to pick them off. I don't care if it's or not, I think a Premier League team is going to pick off the Norwegian team, when they get desperate. I think that's where you'll see the differences, I think that's where people have got a bit like stuck in the, they beat Lazio, they beat Porto, they beat all these teams, but they've been in different scenarios in them games as well, because the first leg's been this is now a scenario where they've had to play the first leg at home, and the second leg's away. They're chasing the game, already being 2 goals down. They're going to have to come out even more open than what they usually do in their home games, but they're playing the first leg. So when they come out even more open, I'm pretty confident. people might say it's Spurs, but I'm pretty confident a decent enough English side or transition, will pick up a Norwegian team, home or away, if they're not careful.
agree,
That's
yeah.
what I'm trying to say.
It's not
That's
just
the way
that,
I'm looking
Jen,
at
is
it
it?
from here, yeah? Yeah, that's
It's
the way
not
I'm
just
looking at it.
that.
Bud.
I mean, in what semi-final of any competition, even in domestic cups or any European competition, wouldn't you bite your hand off to be winning the first leg of a semi-final 3-1 going into the
hell
second
yes,
leg?
absolutely,
like,
no doubt, no doubt.
And like, you can lose 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 and still go through. I don't think fans are a bit more pessimistic. I get the excitement. It's nervous. It's semi-final. It's not settled together. That's the thrill and the jeopardy of being a sports fan, right? That comes with it. This is why we love the sport, even though it shreds our nervous systems, right? This is why we love it, right? And when you get through, you get that release of nervous energy, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, we're through at the final, and then we'll go through hell and high water again because now we're in the final. It'll be like,
the anxiety will start over again for sure.
Yeah,
real quick, I just want to say we've got the number one Spurs channel in the U.S. Jacob is viewing right now. We've got royalty in the building. Just wanted to say hey to Jacob from United Spurs of America, who's here right now.
The link's in the channel, Jacob.
It is. The link's in. If you want to come say hi, I'll put it in again. Real quick, Leo, I wanted to ask you a question, bub. And I guess I just want to know if you think, and I've talked to other people about this and the rest of the panel here, but do you think that if we win this trophy, it'll kind of kick us on and you know, that it'll be the first of many? Do you think it, I guess that's a weird question to ask, but I guess what I'm trying to say is how much is this going to matter? You know, a trophy is what we've needed for a long, long time. You know, we've wanted a trophy. We've been made fun of a lot. You know, that's kind of the joke is that, you know, no trophies in the trophy cabinet. And, you know, we hear all that stuff all the time. Do you think this is going to kickstart us to showing the boys that they can win? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like showing them that the winning is possible. There's a winning mentality here. Do you think that it's going to help us bring better players in because that duck will, you know, that'll be off our back? I don't know. Just wanted your thoughts on that.
I mean, I don't want to like sound so negative, bro, about it because I mean, but I just want to be like 100% grounded. Look, bro, if we were to win this Europa League, of course, it's gonna do wonders for our club, right? In every aspect of the game, we'll get the monkey off of our back, like they say. Will it instill like some sort of winning mentality into some of these players? Some of them have it already, you know what I mean? It's just with their national team. It may, bro, but I just like part of me, bro, just feels that like we're so shattered as a club right now and as a fan base, homie, that like this is literally like the last hurrah, if you will. This run at the Europa League. And I just feel that like even if we win or lose this trophy, the writing is on the wall for Ange Postecoglou. Now it may or may not be what I want, you know what I mean? But I just feel that like regardless of what happens after this season, I think we're going to have a change at the beginning of next season. So there's always going to be some sort of repercussions in that, bro. It's very hard for a team to kick on what switching managers, you know what I mean? Liverpool did it, but Liverpool did it with a way better squad than what we have. So
and like a style of play that was concrete, that was drilled into them. They haven't changed that. They haven't had to make major adjustments.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that much. The drop off wasn't that much for them. So if we get rid of Ange Postecoglou and bring in a different type of manager, a different type of philosophy, let's just say if we were to make a scenario, homie, this looks like Fabrizio Posh, not Fabrizio. Don Paratici is going to be back with us. He may or may not want to bring in Inzaghi from Inter. I don't know if he will. That may or may not be who I want. But I'm just saying that's going to change the philosophy of the way we play. Do we have players fit for that style of system better than the system that we have now? We may or may not. So it's a bunch of
I don't know shit about that guy, to be honest.
No, and neither do I, my homies, but there's some people in the community that will know a lot about it. You know what I mean? So it would just do wonders for us to win this trophy right now, to just say, you know what, like we won the trophy. it may have been the worst Premier League season for Spurs, but we ended up being a successful season somehow because we won a trophy. So it'll tick that box. It'll make Ange Postecoglou. I know a lot of people hate to fucking admit it, but he'll be the most, I guess, winningest, most successful manager we brought to Europe in recent past. So that'll check that box. But then again, we might get
He'll
rid
get
of
his
him at
second
the end of
season
it.
trophy that he always talks about. You
Yeah,
win
you know what I
the
mean? Like,
second
there's so many things, bro, that would be just like that Disney story, right? The green kit again. You know what I mean? Like, to add more to the sauce. Like, we're playing in the green kits that like everybody loves and make it like synonymous to the run back in the day, the last European Cup run. I honestly feel that like we're so shattered. Like I said, bro, we're gonna have a change at the end of this season, regardless, and I think we might have a step back even more. You know what I mean?
during the
It's not
transition.
gonna
You mean
be.
like as we
Yeah,
rebuild
yeah,
again?
yeah, 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 yeah.
If we go,
Sonny may have to move on, my homie. Romero may be moving on. Kulusevski might be moving on. We might be getting rid of, but I don't know. Like, I'm just throwing scenarios out there that can change the outcome of next season, right? So we're bringing in younger players that are. It looks like we're on some sort of a plan. And let me throw this at you too, bro. We got that new person, I guess, from Arsenal or something like that has something to do
The
with like the
CEO or whatever.
executive offices. So are we going a different direction next season? I don't know, homie. I don't even want to look that far, bro. I want to enjoy this
Live in the
this
moment.
short. Yeah, I want to enjoy just this short amount of like, because let's just be real, bro. Even if we win the Europa League this season, bro, come next season when Europa League starts, bro, like everybody forgets who won last season. It's like on to a new campaign. So like it's very short lived, anyways, bro.
uh,
You know what I mean?
look at
It's gonna be very
look at
short
the
lived, anyways.
yeah, look at the positive from winning the Europa. Well, let's just say we do win the Europa League. Look at the positive from that. Win another final as well, the Super Cup final. So you've got another opportunity to win
Yeah,
another trophy
fair point,
if you win the
fair
Europa
point,
League.
fair point.
You're in the Super Cup final
I
against the
didn't
And then
Champions
thought
League
and
about
then
winners.
that,
You know,
man.
so you might have two trophies coming along in the space of 3 months if we get lucky. So you never know
yeah,
as a Spurs fan.
that,
It might that winning
I
mentality,
think
even
it
though that
could.
winning mentality, it might sort of fall on our lap in a way where we win the Europa League and then we get a bit lucky in the Super. We just win the Super Cup final, and then there's a bit of a buzz around the football club going into a new season. So then you never know how this season might finish.
I totally agree, my homie.
Sometimes you have to look
That
for
is,
sometimes you have to look for the positive. Obviously, I'm looking more now. Like think about Inzaghi instead of Inzaghi. If you look at the players you've got in the squad, some of the players are suited for a system now. Like probably
Yeah,
you could get the better
okay,
out of the wing
right.
backs. You could probably get like if you look at Dumfries. Dumfries is not great defensively, yeah, but he does score a lot of goals for his position. If you look at the Barcelona game the other day, I think he scored two. Played at right wing back as well, quite a lot as well. He gets a lot probably better out of Porro and probably gets more out of a doggy as well. So like, and maybe it's like some of the players are more already there for his system, but I don't think Inzaghi comes in the first place anyway because I think he's too
Question for you all then.
for this football club. But
Question
like,
for you all then. I mean,
yeah,
like,
right, yeah, big up.
you win the Europa League. I've seen us win cups, right? I'm older than you guys, right? I've actually seen us experience 14 of our out of our 17 trophies. So I feel a bit guilty because I want you guys to experience the trophy wins as well. But to be honest, winning the Europa League to me is not going to improve our league form, right? Without changes in the squad, right? Do any of you in your wildest dreams? Now we're going to get fifth. We'll get a sixth place this year if Man United and Spurs are in the final because we get the sixth Champions League place, right? But our coefficient of the way they've restructured the Europa League means that we're virtually guaranteed 5 teams in the Champions League each season. But we are not, in my opinion, and I'm a positive Spurs fan, right? We are not a top 5 squad. Our squad is not top 5. Do any of
Definitely
you think
not
we
ready for
are
the
a top
Champions
5
League. I
squad?
know that.
this.
No, to
I'm
get
not a
top 5
Champions
in
League
the
fan,
Champions
though. You
League,
know what I mean?
as it
I don't.
stands, we are not a top 5 squad.
You
Yeah,
mean in
we're
the
not,
Premier League
bro.
or in the world, like
In
world
general,
football?
bro. In general, homie.
We're
In
not. No,
general, we don't.
I
We
can
don't.
admit that.
we don't need to be in and amongst those Champions League. That's why, like, look, bro, we definitely winning the Europa League will get us there. But
We
I
ain't
don't know,
winning
like,
it if we
bro.
get there. So we ain't winning it with the squad we got. Nowhere near getting there. We won't. If we got to the quarterfinals, that would be a miracle. If we got out the 8, we're not.
I'm trying to
winning
think of
it.
the players on our team that I think are Champions League caliber
It'd be nice
players.
to go in it though.
Poro, I
There's
think
not a lot.
Poro's Champions League
I'll be
caliber.
real. There's not a lot. If you look at the team, they're probably not. I'll probably say, obviously, we keep Romero off. Let's just say we keep Romero. Romero, obviously, probably going in the side, but Romero's one, obviously. Poro's definitely. He played with this band. I'll probably say Poro's one. Van der Ven, yeah, I'm going to put Van der Ven there as well. 3, that's not a guarantee though. Your doggy, no, I'm 50-50 on that. You know what I mean? Champions League level, I'm not 100% sure about that.
Yeah.
Look at the midfielders now, yeah. Technical, I'm still putting in there because he's got Champions League experience, yeah. I'm going to give him just a buy on that. Suma, no. Bergvaul's still young, isn't he? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to say guarantee him just going to the Champions League and just like, that's a
Dan,
very
you're
big
not
ask,
keeping
and
Werner, no?
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely,
God.
definitely.
I love our
Definitely,
team, my
definitely
homies.
not.
I absolutely love our team, my homies. But if any one of our players was Champions League quality, we'd be in the Champions League. Simple
The
enough, my
point
homies.
is,
You know what I
what
mean?
not enough.
we're really trying
There's
to
not
make
hardly
is
any, is there?
like, if we win the Europa League, the moment we lift that trophy, Daniel leaving the ball go, bang. The money we can expect out being in the Champions League, we have got to spend this money in the transfer window. With 3 or 4 players could transform us, right? I still think we're 2 or 3 windows away because I don't count January. To be title contenders in the Premier League, you're looking around going to next summer, and that's if we have a decent window. I'm not talking about spending hundreds of millions of pounds. We've done that. We spent $1 billion and 27 million since 2019, but we bought loads of players of low quality, basically, rather than a few players of top quality, right? So,
Agreed.
yeah. So,
It's in a perfect world, though, right, my homie?
And we could get even more. I really love the loan to buy. I love the loan to buyers. I love them. Try before you buy it. If they're crap, piss them off. If Chell don't do enough in our eyes, they might see more of him in the training field than we do. I like what I see about him, but I'm not paying 60 million for him. I'll pay 30, but I ain't paying no more, right? But and then you like look around. There are a lot of bargains to be had, and you haven't got to go out and spend 60, because 60, 70 million don't mean you're a good player. And Dombley wasn't good for us. The Celso did do it for us.
I've done my best to block him out of my mind too. You're bringing up shit I don't want to think about, Adrian.
No one even mentions him anymore. That's how he's doing nothing in his career. I've not heard anything about Ndombele since he's left us and gone back to Nice.
And Bergwijn was going to be the next best thing. And apart from the 2 goals he scored at Leicester, I mean, what did he do? You know, and we had we bought so much.
We bought quite a few stinkers. Did you say Lo Celso already? Because that was a big chunk of money gone.
I like to say we had
Celso one's actually
better in the last 3 transfer windows.
The Celso one's actually pretty well though, because if you actually look at, he's doing all right in Spain, but we might actually get a little gem out of it because we sold him in January and we just put a little stupid clause in. And I thought, what are we doing, man? Just like Cardoso player, yeah. But the way his career's going in the Spanish league this season, yeah, he's done really
I forgot
well.
about him.
And
good
and
call.
Spurs are smart, yeah. If Spurs are smart, yeah, they will just buy this guy for 21 million quid. If he's willing to come in the summer, they will buy him for 21 million pounds, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Cardoso, get him.
Yeah, he's
that'd be good. Our midfield is
he suits that position we're sort of looking for as well, where he can sort of do a lot of the ball recovery as well. Yeah. What he needs to do better at is he needs to be better some of his progressive passing, yeah, like going forward and that as well. But literally, I've watched him in Spanish league this season for Real Betis quite a lot, yeah. He's a decent player. If we can get him for 21 million pounds out of this Lo Celso deal, yeah. Lo Celso deal don't look so bad in the end, yeah. I actually watched him. He's actually pretty good. And 21 million pounds, yeah, that's a snip. That's a snip for 21 million quid, yeah.
If I was going to pick a player over, we couldn't get Edison. I would like Fratesi because he's not getting the game time at Milan.
Yeah, but I think Edison might be sort of
decent. He's decent. He's developed this season. He's got good reports.
I rate Cardoso. I actually do rate him, man. I didn't know much about him. I've been watching bets a lot this season, yeah. And in that Real Madrid game in the league, he really impressed me. And he's impressed me a lot.
Yeah,
in the
no, he
Conference
went
League
off.
as
He
well.
went off that game. That game was unreal. He had a wonderful game.
And there's
I,
very
I've
good
only
chance
seen
they're probably
highlights,
going to
but-
get Chelsea.
Technique as well, Dan. He's got decent technique, and he is brave and energetic as well. And I like that because he's one of those like
He's
he'll
American,
stick in there like a
isn't
Sissoko
Yeah, he
Wanyama.
comes from the Brazilian league, though, doesn't he? I've done a little bit of search. I swear he got him from the Brazilian league. Right,
Probably.
He plays for the US though, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
nice.
think Ralph
Plays for USA.
Betis signed him for a Brazilian team, Internacional, I think it might have been, yeah? And he went to Betis from there. So I don't know how he's ended up in the Brazilian league to start his career off, but I just look at him like that. £21 million for someone in this market for a position we might be looking at as well to improve in the summer. That certain position.
He's a no-brainer, Dan, isn't he? You can buy him for
it might make
21
sense
million
as well, right?
and sell him for
That's
30 million. He's a no-brainer. He's a Levy deal.
You literally could bring him in, sell him the same window, and get more.
What do you get for 21 mil these days? You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it don't work out, that's what Italian clubs do. That's what Italian clubs do. They sign a player. That's what Atlanta done with us with Romero. They signed buddy Romero from Juventus. Was it on? They got him on loan, signed him permanently, and then sold him to us 4 days later. Do you remember? They signed him permanently from Juventus at the end of the season for like 30 million quid, and then sold them to us late, like 4 days later, for a £15 million profit. Italian clubs are known for doing it. Yeah, sign a player permanently and sell them later. But basically, what he does, he has a great season on loan, and they know other teams want him in the market, and they can make a straight profit on them, isn't it? So it makes sense. And even if Levy wants to do that, that's the sort of thing that Levy does. So even if he does that just to make a quick £20 million profit, I'm not 100% against that because he can then use that for another player in the market. Yeah, because this is someone who's probably going to go in the summer if we don't sign him. If we don't sign him, he's probably going to someone else.
Yeah,
he's
for
probably
more
going
money.
to Theory.
Getting him and Angel Gomez is on a free to Lille Orleans. I forget which one it is. So it's getting him. Remember, Jonathan David's on a free as well. I mean, don't think that free transfers are cheap because the player knows his value on transfer market. The player knows he's worth 30 million, and you go and sign him. He's going to say, "Well, give me a £20 million signing on fee and 200 grand a week," right? So Gomez, and there are lots of players out there this year. I know that they'll get listed before we get to the end of the season.
Big up, Puppy. Thanks for being here,
got
brother.
1 year left on their contract, which will have to be sold if the clubs want to get money for them. And those that are coming to the end of their contract, like Gomez, Jonathan David. There are others, but I can't think of them at this moment.
So Benny Guy has a comment here.
Sense as well.
I like Benny Guy's comment here. Football in general sucks. Time to admit it. Not many real superstars. It's boring to watch every team in the world playing the similar ways. Boring. Yeah,
it's true.
There used to be so much. There used to be so much variation.
Yeah. Others call it horseshoe football. I call it horse shit football. Right?
It's like most sports, though.
It's all the same. Back in the day, I mean, like Dan will know, you guys are. It was good because you had different systems. People playing 4-4-2, 3-5-2, playing different systems. The manager was complaining like as if the other team weren't playing the right game to suit their style because they lost.
I loved it. I loved when a team that was arguably worse could have a system that totally disrupts a better team and they would win. That was amazing. Yeah. That was so much fun to watch.
Like you said, we don't get enough superstars anymore. But it's in most sports, mate. If you go look in boxing is nowhere near as good as what it used to be before. There's too many superstars like there was back in the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah, you don't look even. I don't even like Formula One. Yeah, but you don't look back at the old, like back in the days, like Schumacher, Hakkinen, everyone now. There's hardly any big names anymore. Yeah, there's not any superstars. Like football really died out like early 2000s, like when it started getting 2010s. Yeah, when we started losing all these superstar strikers. The number 9 market, yeah, is basically nearly dead now. Yeah, you try and name 10 good strikers, and then Adrian. Don't say Vlahovic. So I know you want to say Vlahovic straight away.
Vlahovic,
you can't say Vlahovic is one of them. Yeah, okay. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to name 10. That's why you see when we sell Harry Kane and people say we're struggling. Yeah, it's so easy to fall back to because we got rid of Harry Kane. That's why we're struggling. It's basically it's impossible to replace Harry Kane. He's that good of a goal scorer.
And we knew that. And we knew that when he sold
it. So you're going to notice when you miss him. But then if you look at the strikers now on the market, if Spurs were to say, "Oh, let's go and sign a replacement for Solanke or Richarlison," yeah. It's easy enough Spurs fans saying Solanke's struggling, but there's not a lot of strikers who are going to guarantee get you 25 plus goals every season in the top 5 leagues of football anymore. It's really hard to find a consistent one who's going to do it. You might get one who has a little purple patch. Like I rate Mateta, but this Mateta's purple patch is little 12 months, because then he might go back to hitting 10, 11, 12 goals every season. That's what I'm saying. It's very hard to find a 20, 25
Kane was
plus.
just so consistent. Kane was just so consistent. It's not even
And
that
when
he
you
was
lose
that
it,
good.
you're going to notice when you lose them. Of course you will.
And you go back to when like we had 4 strikers, and now most clubs struggle to have 2. The way the system played, and you look at the way the coaches have come into the game and they've turned it into a robotic game of horseshoe football, whereby what it basically is, for those that don't know, and I'm not a coach, I was involved in a football club years ago, but I mean, like, I'm not a coach, but it's all about overloads, right? Now, I'm talking about overloads in the back four when fans at Spurs get nervous when we're playing it round the back, trying to progress. It's overloads further up in midfield, up to the halfway line. It's about overloads over the halfway line. Where most fans are common with overloads is down the right and left wing, right? So when you're getting overloads down the right and left wing, what you're doing, you're not bringing dribbling wingers back into the game, because you're getting 2 versus 1 down the left wing or the right wing down to the corner flag. Why? Because percentages is simple, right? If you can pass your way past the player, you don't risk losing the ball trying to take him on, right? And this is why it's become fucking negative. What I call it robotic football, because I'm old school, right? So this is what, and the same as central strikers, when you had 4, it was under different systems of playing, right? To cater more for it. But everything now is narrow. You'll always notice that down one side of the pitch, the left and the right, there's a big long tranche of grass where no one is.
Yeah,
right?
they're pulling everything over to one
narrow
side.
is because you don't want teams, like great teams, even like Barcelona and Real Madrid might struggle against you, Bayern Munich, whatever. The idea is to keep them out wide and stop them playing through the middle. Stop them playing through the middle. Right? Yet you're geared to playing through the middle where you've only got one fucking striker in the box. Unless you get that pinpoint cross in there, you're getting nowhere. I would like to see Spurs and Ange play. I don't mind the wingers being wide when we try to progress the ball upfield and they're moving wide. I would like both the wingers in the Spurs side. If you imagine the outside angles of the penalty area, that's where I'd like my wingers. And then say like a slanky, split dead centre in the middle of them. Because what we're trying to do with the wingers in, we're not putting a cross in a box. We're trying to cut into the closed space like Decky will do if he's on the right and cut in, right, and get a shot off. But if you're already there, you ain't got the trouble of doing that. I mean, and this it blows. There's so many things I could go on about.
Yeah,
Benny got made a good kicks and things like throw-ins. There's so many things I could go on about if we had time and talk about this. Do it another time.
Yeah, well, absolutely. But I appreciate your knowledge and your expertise here.
I'm not an expert. I'm just a fan.
Yeah, you're closer to an expert than me. So again, I appreciate you, man. I wanted to get Audio's questioning because I thought it was good, and I wonder because I had really high hopes for Gray when he first came in. I thought he was going to be kind of a difference maker. I know that he's probably gotten more minutes than he would have, but clearly not in the position we were hoping that he would get the minutes in. If we do get that Johnny Cardoso fella, Basuma goes out, still no room in the midfield for Gray. Would you guys loan Gray back to Leeds for a year of Premier League midfield experience?
No. Gray stays. He's earned his call, mate. And Cardoso comes in great. Gray can learn for that. Gray's played that in midfield. He played about 33 games for Leeds as right back out of necessity. He played as a 10 for Leeds in about a few games. And he bossed the midfield when Leeds played Chelsea in the FA Cup in one game. The kid is so adaptable. We've seen him play at left back, right back, centre back. The only time I see him uncomfortable was in one of the pre-season games against Bayern Munich. And he did actually get bullied against Delap in the Ipswich game we played, right? Which we won anyway, right? And then they switched. Gray moved inside, and I can't remember if VDV or Romero played that game, or Danso, and they switched places anyway, right? So, no, the kid's, for his age, he's excellent. And this is a football, you see, that they can play in different positions, in different systems, at such a young age. Right?
Yeah, that is true.
So why can't these older players do this as well? Listen,
the coaching was different.
All their academies, you're not a bad player if you play in the Premier League. Even if you're in like a lesser team or a less wealthier team. You've come for your academies legally in England. I think the youngest is 9 or might be 8, or, for obvious reasons, upwards. You would have played in many systems and many styles. Don't give me this crap when we get up to our level that you can't play in this system or that system. I'm not having it. I'm not having it at all. Right? I'm old school. No, you either can do this or you shouldn't be at this football club.
Leo,
I think if we end up getting that player,
fantastic. I think he's a fantastic player.
Agreed.
I think if we end up getting him, even irrespectively if we move on, Basuma or Bentancur or any midfielder to make room, why not just add him to the mix, man? Why not keep him? I don't know how I feel about Archie Gray even playing throughout the in the midfield just yet. I know that's where a lot of us feel that he's probably brought into play, and he's probably been paid out of position, but he obviously isn't our go-to what would it be, CDM right now or number 6 right now. There's other people ahead of him in that position. So I mean, if he's getting minutes playing, left back, right back, or even center back, I mean, he's probably going to bite at the opportunity to get him anyways. You know what I mean? Especially being a young kid, just eager to get any type of minutes. It's not like he's an old guy and we're asking him to bomb up and down the wing every game. You know what I mean? We're asking a young, hungry kid to say, "Hey, you look like you're up for the part, my homie. Go see what you got." You know what I mean? And that's the type of coach, the manager that I feel Ange is, like he will give you that opportunity. Like if you want to go swim in that big pool, like, like for example, when I was young and I wanted to hang out with my brother's 4 years older than me, and I wanted to go and hang out with him and his friends. Well, my brother always made me prove that I was up for it. You know what I mean? If I wanted to go swimming with him in the deep end, he would throw my ass in there and make me swim in the deep end. And sometimes that's what you need, bro. Like sometimes that's what you need. Like it may not be what you're looking for at the time. You may just be wanting to swim, but if all you have is the high dive, you know what I mean, and you get wet and in and out of the pool, and you're all right with that. You know what I mean? Like
You're
that's swimming.
swimming.
Like,
Yeah.
That's so true. That's so true. And the other thing is, like, our go-to 4 midfielders at the moment are Madison, Kulusevski, Bentancur, and Bergvall when they're fit. So you're
even
playing 3 out of those, right?
Oh, Sarr. Wow. I wasn't even.
I know we've got Sarr and all that. He's got 6 goals actually
Yeah.
this season. He's done quite well.
Yeah, I mean,
right? So you've got that. So now you've got to drip feed Gray into certain games, because he hasn't had the run of games in midfield that he's had at fullback, left back, right back, or even at centre back. And you just can't throw him in at any game, right? It's not the way it works, right? You could bring him on with half out a go in a game when we're winning, right? Get your feet under that, get your feet under the table here, right? But you just can't say, "Oh, we all see him as a number 6, throw him as a number 6." Really? Like you've got you. I mean, this is where Ange, or the manager has to make the management decisions when you do this, right? He hasn't had a run of games in midfield for us yet. Do I think he can do it? Yeah, I do.
And I mean,
Cardoso comes in, we would have 2 then that can do that job. Right?
I'm almost look, my homies. I'm almost inclined to say, let's just say, for argument's sake, Oliver Glasner's hired Tottenham manager to start the season. He's not, and I'm not speaking for him. I'm just saying he's not going to see anything different in Archie Gray that Ange Postecoglou hasn't seen to make him jump to make him leapfrog these other players, bro, that are in his position. I just don't see it happening, my homies. I don't see it happening with any manager. You know what I mean? Like, I think Archie Gray should honestly be grateful for the minutes that he's gotten this season, because had it not been for the situation we were in, he wouldn't be getting the minutes. And a lot of these bigger channels will say, "Oh, but as soon as everybody's fit, he's not going to get a sniff." Well, you guys were right. He wasn't. right? Why? Because he just so happened to be the band-aid over the wound that we needed for in that time and in that situation.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that Archie Gray's a shit player, my homies. That doesn't mean that whatsoever. Archie Gray's a fucking kid. He's a young kid that's swinging
So true,
way
hon.
above his
So
weight
true,
limit.
Leo. And he's
and
got
even-
to
You know what I
prove it.
mean?
And he's got to prove it because, as I've said, if they're fit, Madison, Bergvall, Bentancur, Kulusevski, it's 3 out of those 4. At the moment, it is when they're all fit. Because we'd love 3 out of those 4 to go away Thursday, and we haven't got them because Madison and Bergvall aren't fit, right? So Gray has got to like step up, and he's in the Sarr position at the moment. I like what I see about Sarr. I mean, he's got a kick on a bit. He's got a bit of the Vieira about him at Arsenal.
He's only a kid as well.
And you know,
And there's another one who's got a kick on, but fans should also get out of this mold of like, oh, it's 11, he's not getting his 11, he's not getting. Hang about. It's 38 league games. If you're in Europe, there's a minimum of 8 games on top of that, 46. A minimum of 2 domestic cup games. That's 48. That's if you don't progress in any of the cup competitions, right?
yeah.
What player's going to play 48 games? None of them, right?
We need to.
So it is a squad game. Go on, Dan. I'll let you take up. Go on, Dan.
Yeah, we need to be realistic here because if we don't, I'm 1 second. This is going to come from a different angle here. Yeah, this is people know that I like Archie Gray, so I get him quite well with the Leeds fans as well. Yeah, and I wanted Archie to come here when I wanted us to hijack the deal to get Archie in the first place when I knew he was going to go to Brentford. Yeah, so I'm a big fan of him. I'm not putting the price tag to the side here, but let's say we don't get Champions League football. Yeah, we're going to potentially have maybe 40 games next season if we got. Let's look at it now. The fixtures are going to even short and even less next season. Yeah, so there's even less of a guarantee. He's going to get even shorter amount of games than what he did this season. Like, obviously, I'm looking at realistically, we can't have 2 or 3 seasons, yeah, if this guy just playing mismatch of positions, yeah, and not establishing him a position.
Right.
I know people say about him being young, yeah. You can't just have a utility player when they're 22, 23. I know he's 18 now, but if he's still this in 21, 22 years' time, then we've got a big, big problem. As I'm trying to say, we're then stifling his development as well, because this guy potentially left Leeds as well, yeah, to get into the England squad as well. We have to look at it as well. I'm looking at it realistically as well, yeah, for Archie's development, yeah. If we could say to Leeds, if Leeds were willing to do it, yeah, so this might just benefit us. But if they're willing to do it as well, where they're going to have a decent midfielder for a year and they can get him 25 plus games in the midfield in the Premier League, and then we can see him get a guaranteed 25 plus games in the Premier League. There's no guarantee, yeah. But let's say we don't get European football, then we're going to have even less games than this season. That's my biggest worry now about Archie next season. Yeah, the short amount of games.
I get that. Yeah. But under Poch, right? Under Poch, we all wanted Walker and Rose to play every game, but like he changed his fullback game. He rested them. Right now, you've got to have the quality to do it. All right. Whoever we brought in was a drop off from Walker and Rose before Walker left in 2017, but it worked. We challenged. We finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in 3 seasons like that. Yeah, so I wouldn't be averse to
I always ask someone this question. Yeah, this is the perfect way to put it. Like, do you see Archie Gray being a future Spurs centre back or right back in the next 4 or 5 years' time? Is that a position you see him being our number 1 starter in the next 4 or 5 years?
No,
right back or centre? If not, he has to be a central midfielder then. He has to be a central midfielder then. I'm not saying we're wasting his year or 2 years, yeah? But if we don't start playing him in central midfield, yeah, and start establishing him in that position and giving him a go there, yeah, then we're basically just going to make him a utility player for the next 4 or 5 years. We can't do that. That's what I'm trying to say. We have to just spend basically 40 million quid on a utility player. We can't do that. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what we've got to do.
But I do think the games he's getting in defense, though, the games he's getting anywhere, I think are going to help his game as a midfielder. Because
this is not me criticising Archie, though, because I proper rate Archie. I proper rate Archie, yeah? But I'm just thinking long term for his career-wise. I don't want to be sitting here with like maybe 2 or 3 years time saying about him when he's 21, 22. This
but Daniel, don't you think
nailed down?
He's got such a good football IQ, Dan. He's got such a very good football IQ.
Yeah, definitely has, man. Definitely has.
You watch him when he chips the ball forward. Porro doesn't do that. Even Spence doesn't do that. They more carry the ball if they can, right? And then you watch him at centre-back when he's heading the ball on. He is very aware. He's got good positional sense, right? He's good at the back. I think he would make an excellent number 6. actually, I think he's see. I don't like 6, 8s, and 10s. I ever call you like a holding midfield player, central midfield player, or like an attacking midfield player, right? But like, nah, he's got it all in his locker, right? And for his age, he's done phenomenally well, as has Bergveld, who's another freak as far as I'm concerned, right?
Yeah.
And like, I just think like he will come into the side, but in midfield, and when he does, he might make that position his own, and I can see him doing that. I can really see him doing it because I think he's got that much about him to do it. Good passer, reads the game well, good vision, right? Yeah, and he. When you see him panic or lose composure, you don't. He just seems so self-assured most of the time when I look at him.
I would just to say, because I mean, I know the homie said he wanted to wrap up a long time ago, but I'll just say real quick, Archie Gray, for me, it would be a shame to see him stay at Spurs and not get utilized the way he should be getting utilized. With that being said, I still believe that he wouldn't be getting no game time this season had it not been for the circumstances that led up for him to get the time that he's seen. And he's just so happened to take to water, like a duck to water, that he's been getting more time in that position and more time in that position. And he excelled in that position where we needed him to fill the gap in another one. He excelled in that position. So now, and it's just ironic that one of the only times he got his fair opportunity, like in that number 6 role, was against Liverpool when they fucking smashed us. You know what I mean? So he literally like got tossed in the deep end, for that one. But
you can't really judge him on the way
I would think
because you can't really judge him on that way at Liverpool one because, like you said, that's handing people to the wolves basically that game, isn't it? Anyone could struggle in that game away from home.
He was basically told, okay, you want a tango? Here's the dance floor, buddy. In a good way, you know what I mean? But games like this it's gonna have to we're gonna have to see that vulnerability eventually from Archie Gray if we want him to be who we want him to become. Because I mean, in my perfect Spurs world, Archie Gray is a Spurs player for a long time, and he's leading us out. He's captain material in any team that he goes to. I'm giving him his flowers because he deserves them. You know what I mean? I would hate to see him just sit here and rot on our bench and only get called upon when we need him to. With that being said, I don't think Archie Gray has the minerals right now. In this game for tomorrow, you know what I mean? Well, I mean, no, and that's fair, but he's had his opportunities and hasn't done it. Now, will he grow into that? Yeah. I absolutely think he will. So, that's just all I wanted to say about Archie Gray.
I think he's proved himself.
I am going to wrap it up.
I love you, Leo. I mean, I think he's proved it because he's been asked to play in other positions, and when has he played badly? He hasn't. He got bullied a bit, Ipswich a bit, did Dilap, and he's done it. And I thought, when I watched the film, left back, right back, centre back, you've done all right. All right, you might get slaughtered if we were playing Real Madrid or Barcelona or someone else like that. But I thought in the Premier League, you've done all right in these positions. I'm expecting to see you play more at right back because where I see him at Leeds or in midfield when he bossed the game against was it Chelsea or Arsenal in the cup? I forget. I think it was Chelsea.
I think with him, he's with his performances that he's given throughout the season. I think he's put himself in prime position to be that first person to be looked at. I mean, hold on. I feel like he's put himself in prime position to be that first person to be like, okay, who can I look at for this? You know what I mean? In the midfield, on the left, on the right, and even through center backs, we even have like Davies and Danzo now, which he might have taken, a step back. But I think like when it comes time to make a change in the midfield, defensively maybe, or even like on the right back or left back situation, Archie Gray probably is one of the first contenders for that, to fill that role, not to be the
reminds me a bit
to fill that role.
Leo, it reminds me a bit, might be a bit before your time, to turn it to like a Mr. Versatile like Gary Abbott was, who was captain at his club, like who played in midfield and dropped into the back four in the later years. I think this kid is that good. I think he's that talented. Now, in a way that other fans don't see it, because normally, like when fans talk about talent and all that, they talk about sexy players that are really skillful, can beat a man, do this or whatever. And you don't get that all the time in defenders, or defensive midfielders, But that's not what you want. Every team's got to have an unsung hero.
A Mark Noble, if you will.
Yeah, he's a dog of war anyway. It can be a dog of war. And he doesn't flinch. He doesn't bottle it. I haven't seen him bottle it, even though he got roughed up a bit by Dillap. He didn't bottle it. He kept going and kept going. I thought, yeah. I like this kid. I really do like him. I watched him at Leeds, and I thought, all the times we were roaming with him like the rest of the Premier League, I thought, I wouldn't mind him. And I think he's got a lot higher ceiling as well.
Before we go, Leo, do you need to leave?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna start making some dinner. Like I said, I've been home all day. My wife's been at work, so I'm gonna get some dinner going for the family and stuff like that. My homies.
I just want to say thanks for jumping in, dude. I appreciate seeing you.
Big up, mate.
Yeah, appreciate you, homie. Well, I want to say to you, bro, I appreciate you for having a space where people could come and speak their mind and not have to feel like they'll be just looked at differently, homie. And one thing I will say to everybody watching either live or on playback, when the grass is cut, the snakes will show, my homies. I've learned a lot of things about people in the Spurs community over this past couple of months, homie. And I just want to say this channel, for me at least, if I see you guys on live, I'll definitely be in the comments or watching, because I enjoy talking ball. Is it still talking ball, my homie? I always look at it as talking ball. It's always been a cool space for me, homie.
Well, I hope you enjoy Spurs Clouds as well.
Yeah, I got nothing against you, my homie. I really don't. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't have anything against anybody, but for some reason, you know what I mean? When you're not on somebody's corner, they think you're on the opposite corner. You know what I mean? And it's not always like that, my homies. It's not always like that. Just because we're not on the same corner doesn't mean we're on opposite corners. You know what I mean, homies?
We're in different time zones most of the time. I get that, right?
Yeah. So big up to you guys. And I hope everybody has a good one, my homies.
Enjoy dinner, my man.
Yeah.
Thanks again, brother. Appreciate you, big dog. Leo, everybody. He was nice having another American in the house. Made me feel a bit more. It was a bit more like home.
Josh, welcome.
Josh is here.
How you doing?
Josh is here.
It's all right.
I'm good. I'm a little sleepy. I've been going for a while. This has been a long first stream back, man.
I didn't realize you were on, man. Otherwise, I would have come in earlier. But
all good, man. All good. I'm glad you're here, dude. I'm really glad you're here.
Yeah. So I just wanted to weigh in on this, and I can hear you guys like sitting there singing the praises of some of these players, and I can understand it in some respect. But for me, I cannot realistically sit here and praise any single player on the team this season. This is our worst league position since 1977. Mate, let that sink in. We're sitting 16th in the league. We're 2 points above the relegation zone. It's our worst league run since 1977, and people are singing it. They're sitting here singing the praises of the likes of James Maddison. They're singing the praises of Archie Gray. Now, I mean, some of these players.
Are we supposed to just say?
In some respects, I can understand. Some of the players on the team haven't really been given a chance. But the core fundamental group of players that we have in this team, this is the worst performing team that we have had in over 40 years.
Which individual players do you think are at fault for making us the worst performing team?
I think Basuma's been absolutely horrific this season.
I think everyone would agree. He had a good game. He had a good last game or two. You know what I mean? But that's not to say that he, and I guess good is relative. Better than he had. Basuma is. I think everyone would agree with you there for sure.
Yeah. Dominic Solanke, I don't think has hit the ground as much as what we expect him to have done. There's absolutely no way in God's green earth is a £60 million player in any way, shape, or form. Kulusevski, for the most part, has been good, but he's very inconsistent. He's a hit and miss player. He goes through purple patches.
I'd say more good than bad, but yeah.
Yeah, James Maddison's another one. He just can't stay fit. He keeps getting injured. He keeps taking little knocks. He's out for a game or two every so often. He hasn't been consistent.
No lie there. Yeah.
Richarlison, I don't even want to talk about that pigeon. He's been absolutely woeful since he joined us.
Last 2 matches, he looks pretty sick though.
He's been poor though. I mean, 2 matches as opposed to how long has he been with us? 3 years now. 2
I can,
years.
but yeah, but everyone's only gonna. I mean, not only going to, but I mean, you talk about recent stuff. It's just everyone. I think's judgment is sort of like what have they done for me recently? Yeah, I don't know. Richarlison, the last 2 matches has been a breath of fresh air to me. We've had all these players that like refuse to drive the ball forward, and the fact that he is just so willing to do that. And yeah, a lot of the times it doesn't work out, but I'm just glad that there's somebody willing to do that, and willing to drive forward. That's what I'm not absolutely not trying to argue with every single thing that you say, by the way. But it's just kind of,
I think
Yeah,
Sonny should have gone 2 years ago, in my opinion. I think he's way past his prime. The only reason he's still here is because he's a poster boy and he's the break into the Korean market. That is the only reason he's at the club. Let's not get
he's probably a good person to have in the dressing room. And but yeah, I agree that he definitely hasn't been the player that I want him to be lately. Yeah, no lie there either.
I don't think anyone's denying most of these players have been rubbish this season, though. I think that's quite a common knowledge that most of
it just
90% of these players
baffles me. Daniel, it just baffles me when I sit on social media and I see people singing the praises of individual players when, realistically speaking, not a single person is worthy of praise.
I thought you meant us talking about these players.
No, okay. No. I'm talking about in general. I can't sit here and fundamentally defend any single player on this team because at some point down the line, there have been major inconsistencies, and I know you're going to hate. And I know you're going to hate me for this, Colin, because I was all for Ange. I was all for Ange to do well at the club. Yeah. I have flipped up so hard. I do not want him at this club at the end of at the start of next season. I want him gone.
It's definitely not working out. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean,
like I said, it's the worst. It's the worst league position since 1977. Facts do not.
I don't argue with that. I mean, like, if you looked at all the squad and you said who's challenging the best player of the season, although he's coming back from injury, I'd have to say Kulu, but. Other than that, who's running for second? No one. I mean, but now recently, because he's been off form, suddenly among the toxicity, among the fan base, suddenly Kulu's shit. Right? He's not. Right?
I wouldn't say he's shit. I just think he's inconsistent.
I agree. But he has been
plays extremely
prior
well.
to his injury and coming off, and he has played. Only him and Porro have played the most games this season. Prior to him coming off, I think if you had a vote tomorrow for best player, I'm giving it to him. Right? I'm giving it to Kulu, right? Because Porro's inconsistent and the rest have been a fucking shambles. And you're right in a way, Josh, because we rave about our best back 5 or 6 with a goalkeeper.
Our back 5 are conceded.
The problem I have with that is, right? How many shit goals have we conceded in their penalty area when we have loads of bodies in there that could have dealt with the situation? I mean, so individually, when they're in form, yeah. Well, when you're not in form, you can also do enough to get through a game, and we haven't been able to do that. Right? And we've had too many players out of form at the same time, and we know you, Doggy. I loved you, Doggy, last. I thought it was great. This season, been piss poor. He was great against Frankfurt away, right? But he hasn't shown any of the form. He come into pre-season. He was injured. He didn't have proper pre-season. So he shouldn't have played as many games. We didn't really have no cover for him, right? Blah, blah. I mean, and I don't want to make excuses for so many players in this squad. They just haven't been good enough. And I've always said back in the day, I said it for 3 seasons ago. I said the problem with Spurs is, it's not been ever about equality at times of the player. It's about we've had too many passive players in this squad. You need a balance of that 25 players, about 16 of them that are aggressive players. You can have passive players if they've got a deep inner aggression about them, but too many I don't mind the odd yellow card. I've never minded. I don't want to send it off, obviously. You want to see that bit of grit. Like when Mourinho was white. He said we're too nice. We should be more like we should be cunts, right? Right, and he was right. He was spot on.
Yeah,
We are
I just
we
want
are
to
too
touch on
passive
what,
in games.
I just want to touch on what Inner Hype has just said there, that Sonny's at Spurs because of his talent. He's not at Spurs because of his talent. The guy is coming towards the end of his career. He in the Premier League alone has only scored 7 goals this season, as opposed to 3 years ago where he won the Golden Boot.
He's got 11. He's got 11 and 11 assists.
In all competitions, yes, but not in the Premier League. In the Premier League, he's got 7 goals in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's not been good enough in the Premier League.
He hasn't been good enough for the Premier League. The guy is at the end of his career. He hasn't been performing. He's not at Spurs because of his talent. He's at Spurs because he's the poster boy of the club and he sells tickets to international fans. That is the reason he's still here.
And that's why Young's been brought in.
Exactly. As soon as we go and sign another young Korean that is going to burst onto the scene and have all the hype about him, Son will be a distant memory. Exactly. Son will be a distant memory.
That's why they brought Young.
I do think Son would be a lot more effective if he was in a system that played to his strengths. He is sort of marooned out on the touchline where he's not effective. So I think that if you played him in a position where he had the opportunity to do the things that he does best, you would be seeing more out of him. I don't think that's deniable.
I just don't think he's been good enough this season. I don't think any player on this team's been good enough this season, Colin.
Yeah,
I think you got to need more.
You know,
there needs to be
more. I don't think people are arguing that. I mean, it's just like it's been a total shit show.
Yeah, well, the season sort of, when you look at a manager, the team usually mirrors how the manager's been, and the manager's been underperforming, and so are the players as well. A lot of these players have been rubbish this season. And we cannot deny it. Like, if you look at this is the reason why we're sitting 17th place, or basically 17th place in the Premier League, yeah? Because too many of these players have not been good enough this season, like, too many of them. Like, if you were to name 3 or 4 players for your player of the season, it'd be hard to even name 4, wouldn't it? It'd be hard to put a list of 4 players to have an option to vote. Who's the 4 best players for Spurs player of the season? It'd be hard to even pick 4 options because there's been hardly 4 good players. That's what I'm saying. So you look at the situation, like, yeah, we have had a lot of inconsistent play. Like Maddison as well, perfect. Like Maddison has been inconsistent this season, yeah? These last couple, like, month or so, he's been like the sort of guy you've seen a little bit of glimpses of, like, Maddison's coming back to a little bit of his better football. And right now, like, there's too many inconsistent players in this team, and I was starting to see a little bit of glimpse of Maddison come back, and I was thinking that was giving me a bit of hope for the rest of this Europa League. That's why I'm so worried about Kulu stepping in, because Kulu has showed literally nothing in months. Well,
he was injured and then came back.
Not months.
So the injury played a part.
Not months. He hasn't been out that long again. I mean, if I was picking 3 of their best players and watching a shit season, I'd go Gray, Bergvall, Kulu. Definitely, I would pick those 3. And that's sad because that's out of 25, right?
Considering we've used Archie Gray out of position, he's done well. I'm not going to sit here and deny that, but ultimately, I want to see him in his natural position, which is at CDM. I don't want to see him as a right back or a left back.
Because you just answer we just answered the question like earlier, like, if he's going to be playing as the Spurs right back in 5 years' time, that is his position. I understand him playing right back and centre back for the next 5. But if he's not going to be right back and centre back for Spurs, then we should be utilising him where he's going to be potentially for his career. Because then we're basically just wasting him as a utility player for the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah,
well,
and
this is I agree with you, Dan. I agree.
Stopping his development. Yeah, that's why maybe sending him out to
fine. Being out to fill in is fine, but I don't like the term utility player because it means, like, you know, jack of all trades, master.
But you have to think that if he wasn't going to get any minutes, and he's been getting minutes, especially as in the defense. I feel like as a midfielder, I think it would. I don't want to say that he doesn't already understand the game, but I think it would kind of broaden your understanding.
Colin, it's criminal man management, mate. Because he sits there and he plays most of his games as a left back or as a right back. You've got options there. Yeah. If you've got Jed Spence sitting on the bench week in, week out. Every time he's come on for us, he's performed through he's played out of his arse, mate. He has been absolutely exceptional, and we've not utilised him enough. Instead, we're playing Archie Gray out of position. If that's if you want to play Archie Gray, play him in his natural position and give Jed Spence a chance.
Yeah, what he's done is he's mismatched Spence's minutes as well. Yeah. Because where he's obviously put Gray too many times, then in left back on the right back position, yeah, it stops Spence from getting even more games as well. So, like, He could have basically put Gray in that midfield position a lot earlier, maybe in the season, giving him more games as well before the Liverpool game. That's what I mean. The first game he really put him in that this game at the start was that Liverpool game. If you look at it, they were going for the league title, yeah? Yeah? You could basically put any midfielder in that game, they might struggle in that match, yeah? To put them in for that match, it's basically, you know he's going to be put under the telescope because that's the game where Liverpool were going for the league title, yeah? He really struggled in that match. Really struggled. And that was the game where I looked at it and I was like, if we're going to play in the midfield, yeah, we've got to find a solution going forward, yeah, because that was the game where I looked and I was like, is he going to play there a lot of times next season if we don't get European football? Probably not. Yeah, so in my eyes, he has to go on loan, yeah, to help his development. I do not want to be sitting there in 2-3 years' time saying we'll still play Archie Gray as a right back or centre back, yeah, because one of our players is injured. That's not how you spend 40 million quid on a player to just have as a youth.
I think things are going to change. Yeah, I mean, things are obviously going to be changed next season.
Honestly, well, I'm English as well.
Including the manager. The manager's going to change, mate.
I want to help him with the English development as well. What's that, mate?
The manager's going to change. The manager's going to change. And do you know who I think is going to come in? I think Carlo Ancelotti is going to become the next Spurs manager, mate. And it would not surprise me. It would not surprise me at all.
It would kind of fit. Sorry, meeting Katie.
Is he not ready
kind of fit what we do.
Ancelotti's just left Real Madrid, mate. He's just left Real Madrid.
Is he not going up? Yeah, I thought it might be Brazil, though, so I don't know if that's still getting done. I don't know if that's collapsed. I swear someone told me that the other day. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if he's taking on the Brazil national job. I don't know if that's 100%. No, it might not be true. That. I don't know about Ancelotti, man, because obviously he's a Don, obviously. I'm not saying he's not a Don, obviously, but I'm saying about Ancelotti, this period in his career coming to this Tottenham team. I don't know if he's going to probably want to take on that sort of challenge, yeah? He might want to take it on, but bloody hell, fair play if he does want to take it on, because he's really risking. He's not risking his reputation because he's Don no matter what, yeah. But bloody hell, to take on that sort of shit show, this sort of stage in his career, I can't really see the Don doing that. You know,
we saw what he did at Everton. We saw what he did at Everton, Daniel.
Yeah, he did take Everton. He did do. He did take the Everton job. He might come to Spurs then, yeah.
I hadn't seen this. You see in the hypes comment here, Allegri already met with Daniel Levy.
I'd like to know where you've heard that from, and I'd like it to be a reliable source. If it isn't, if it ain't O'Keefe or it ain't what's his Alistair Gold, it ain't trustworthy. Trust me.
With Italian stuff,
Allegri's a bit of a weird one as well. It's a bit of a weird one, Allegri, because like about 6 years ago, you'd be like, yeah, maybe, but this version of Allegri. I'm still we're looking at any manager like, oh yeah, can we take away? I don't want to be looking at it like that sort of thing. Yeah, because people end up saying, let's take Southgate. Yeah, I do not want Southgate managing this football club. I've heard some people say, yeah, let's have Southgate over Ange. No.
Yeah. I've seen people sucking off the ego of Mauricio Pochettino. Oh, he'd do so well if he come back. No, we're trying to go forwards. We don't want to go backwards. Poch is not the guy to do that. I don't want Poch. I don't want McKenna. I don't want Potter. The one manager I do want is I want Areola. That's who I want.
I want Xavi.
No, mate. No.
You don't think? All right.
I do, man. Just Glasgow will be one that's very suited as well. He's doing a very good job at Crystal Palace. Get them to an FA Cup final. First time potentially maybe they're
won the Europa League
in their history. Yeah, he's got a bit of proven experience in Europe for Frankfurt as well. And obviously, there's quite a few Palace players we've been linked to in the last couple of years, like Walton, Eze, Gay, Mitchell, that Nunez, the right back as well. So I look at that maybe thinking maybe there's a bit of legs in that one maybe.
If we go for Eze again, this summer will be the window to do it. Any other time's criminal. Don't bother.
Yeah, well. How's Eze now? 27, 28?
This is what I'm saying.
26, 27?
Yeah,
he's about 27 now.
Yeah, we certainly don't want Grealish. She's 30, 31 now. It's a bit late in the day for him.
I don't want Grealish anyway. He's done nothing the last year or 2 years, man. I hate when people say they're supposed to people on their name here because he's done nothing for the last year or 2 years. He's become quite injury prone as well the last couple of years. Yeah, do we just want to pick someone like high wages? Yeah, he's potentially a risk.
I would have preferred to have him over Madison to be honest, but
yeah, like Grealish is too much of like high risk. It ain't worth the risk anymore, man. Like Grealish, like people just say, like, let's go get Grealish. Nah, man. If you get Grealish when he was like banging at Aston Villa before he went to Man City, the when he got good at City that second season, then fair enough, yeah. But the Grealish over the last couple of years, yeah, no chance of taking that Grealish. Yeah.
The only
Just starting
reason,
to see
the only
that.
reason,
players
the
who
only
are
reason
like
I've gone Grealish.
25, 26, you can sign on a 6-year contract, like a 5-year with a year's extension.
There are
Because
some
that
mad
seems to
wages
be the
as well,
norm
though,
for
surely,
good
innit?
players now. But like, and there are good players at that age. After that, you're thinking, I'm thinking now with the money these players get, where's the hunger in them when they're multi-millionaires? Do they care if they actually even win anything?
I think that's why I've got some kind of, I don't want to say affection because that's a weird word, but that's why I've liked just what I've seen, and it's only literally the last 2 matches, but what I've seen out of Richarlison, because he's actually got like a hunger and actually looks like he cares and he drives the ball forward. I don't know. It just seems like our players are so like stagnant and
And he
like
wants to be in a
unwilling.
Brazil
You
squad
say
next year for the
that,
World
but
Cup.
you'd think you'd have that. You'd think you'd have that mentality out of Romero, considering the guy's won a World Cup. You'd think you'd have that mentality out of him, but he just seems to. Yeah, he's good, but then he just gives up. He loses.
Oh
his
no,
head.
yeah,
I
I'm kind of
disagree,
over Romero.
Josh. I think he's a light year ahead of every defender we got at this club. I think he's.
And I don't disagree because our defense.
I think it's a
terrible.
mentality. I think it's a mentality problem with him. I think that he doesn't want to be here, and it's kind of clear.
What do you base that on?
You can tell.
What do you base it on Romero then?
With Romero, just the fact that he's.
What do you base it on? I mean,
The
like
fact that he's
people
constantly-
know early in the season. Oh yeah, liability. All right, Newcastle away when he was supposed to march with back forward.
You don't think that he wants to
Did you
leave?
see that Wolves game, Adrian?
There was
Mate?
a time
Did
he
you see that
charged
Wolves game?
forward
Did
and
the
he
Wolves game?
conceded a goal when we had more than enough bodies back to deal with the situation.
So,
And
but
I'm
hey,
thinking,
Adrian, I guess what I'm mainly saying, do you think that he wants to leave though? Because I do. Do you think that he wants to be here?
Yeah, I do actually. And
Yeah, I
as
think
he's
he
down
definitely
to 2 years, if he doesn't want to play for the club, listen, let's not get email about players being emotionally attached. We have that all the time. Then sell him. Then sell him.
I don't think you can now. I don't
If we're
think you
talking
can
about
now.
the quality of the player, he's the best defender at this football
I don't
club.
think you can.
Quality-wise,
In my opinion, Josh, you can disagree. That's fine. I respect your opinion, but I mean, like, that's just my opinion.
The reason I say
play in low blocks and all that is questionable. You Doggy's been very. I love you, Doggy. I think you go on being one of the best 4 or 5 left-sided defenders in the world. I think he's got that potential with his physicality and his surging runs. Showed it against Frank, but away like he did last season. Porro, he's an enigma wrapped in a puzzle. He's technically fucking superb as a player. But defensively, he's questionable. But forward, he's brilliant at times, and he will.
He is one that I would happily sit here and say could potentially play out of position. You play him as a right winger. He's one player I would say you could do it with.
But he's not a winger, though, Josh, is he? This is the problem. See, now we're trying to fit a player in that's a puzzle wherever you want to fit him. Right? Play him as a right winger. He's not a dribbler. He's not going to go past players. Right? He's not. And
the guy's end product is incredible.
Others, you know?
The guy's end product is incredible. He's better than the winger that we've got.
His end product is very good. No, it is very good. Yeah. So I'd rather see
play him or Brennan Johnson.
You playing more of a crowded midfield, like 4 in midfield, and you playing him in there. Yep. I don't see him. He's not a winger, is he? I mean, people say Johnson ain't a winger. I mean, he's not a winger. But he's not
on the wing. Would you rather play Brennan Johnson or Pedro Porro, knowing what Pedro Porro can deliver?
Look, I have this argument with people in the past when they say to me about, like, even as a wing back and a 5, right? I'm not a fan of the 5 system. I'm not saying it isn't a better system or not. I wouldn't suit us more or not. It's not my favourite system. I prefer a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, right? But Porro, my argument is, he's a wing back. He's not. Hang about. I'm not having that shit, right?
He come in as a right back. He was when he was
a wing back. No, to me, if it means being a wing back, you're absolved of defensive responsibility. I don't want you in my club, let alone in a fucking team. But he's a good footballer. But I don't know where you really fit him in. I'd rather fit him in midfield. Without seeing him in midfield, I don't know, right? But I'd rather he doesn't look over his shoulder at times. He doesn't stand goal side at times. He's weak to the overhead cross from the left-hand side over the right over his shoulder, right? And don't get me wrong, quite a few occasions he uses his pace to get out of trouble. But like his first responsibility should be defensively. And
I don't disagree. If you're
I
playing,
like the player. I like the player. But
if you play him as a right back, I
can't figure out a best utilise him, Josh.
If you play him as a right back, I do not disagree with you. However, he has all the capabilities and all the fundamental skills to become a winger. As Destiny's just said, imagine telling Gareth Bale, "No, you're a left back." Then what would have happened there? The guy shows promise. He goes forward. He can beat a man and he can cross a ball. He's got all the fundamental skills that a winger needs to possess. If you're going to play a player out of position, I would rather you play Porro as a right winger and you play Jed Spence at right back. That's my honest opinion. Instead of playing Archie Gray at right back.
I would agree with you in the respect that, like nowadays, because you don't get dribbling wingers, and the reason you don't get dribbling wingers because, like, the game is all about overloads from the back, playing out from the back, through the centre of midfield, across the halfway line, through the centre of their midfield, down to the corner flag. And the reason you haven't got dribbling wingers is because we've been like coaches have like coached the players like playing this horseshit football, whereby like you don't dribble past the player because you get either you're the winger or you're the fullback that like joins with the winger. And you go past him, so that defending fullback, right, got a choice to make to take one of you on, and you slip the ball past him because if you slip the ball past him, there is less risk of you losing the ball. And that's the whole point of football nowadays. It all seems to be less risk football. And I find it, I've watched football for several decades and I just think I'll watch it and it is whole shit. It's very robotic, right? And I get it. But like all the teams play, even Man City, they don't go out, or Liverpool, they don't go out every game and smash teams because it's got this unique style of football that they play, right? They get down to the wings as well. And they try and put a ball in the cross. And what? There's no one in there. Or there's only one striker in there.
Yeah, but then they go and win a league title in the first year with a new manager. Like, tomato. Like, Trent Alexander-Arnold has basically got given the here we go to Real Madrid. You don't get that, but you don't get that if if you're playing in a mediocre team and you're not going out and you're playing out your skin every week.
And even their fans complain about Trent not having defensive capabilities. I mean, and you're a team that's won the league, right? But you get that in all football teams, actually. No matter if you win the league, fans are telling us, yeah, but we could do with a better left back, or we could need a bit stronger in midfield. Yeah, you're always going to get
that's
that
only
shit.
natural.
If we go and win the European Cup, I do not think for a minute a single Spurs fan will be happy with how we have been for the majority of the season.
Oh, yes, that's the only way, Josh. Right? I've said it on record. The only way I'll renew my season ticket is if we win the Europa League and we get Champions League football. Why? Because I want to see good teams here. But do I believe that we could win the Champions League? Not in a million years with a squad.
Do we get Champions League if we win Europa League?
Yeah, we do. But what I'm saying is I will renew my season ticket if that happens. I'm not renewing my season ticket as it stands now. I'm not doing it. But we're not winning it. We're not winning it, and there's somewhere we shit a miracle. It's going to be the El Shittico final. It's going to be the El Shittico final. It's going to be Tottenham versus Man United. I'm calling it now. It's going to be Tottenham United in the final.
I mean, United have what? United have what? A three goal lead in their time. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I feel like United are going through as well. Josh, I totally
one second about United though. 1 second about United, because obviously United should go through. I think they will go through, but this is the United team who conceded. They might have scored 5 goals at home to Lyon, but they also conceded 4 goals at home to a Lyon side who had 10 men. Yeah, they were 2-0 up on that tie, yeah, and then ended up going 4-2 down with 10 men. Yeah, so they could easily. Atletico Bilbao scored an early goal in that game. The way Man United I've looked at Man United and Tottenham. They're very similar in how they play. Yeah, they can score quick fire goals just as quick as they can concede 2 quick fire goals. So say Tottenham were in a game where it's 1-0 to the opposing team. We could end up being 3-1 up in the blink of an eye in the space of 10 minutes, yeah? We could also do it the opposite way. Man United are very similar as well. Man United can score like how they did against Lyon. 3 or 4 quick fire goals in the space of 7 minutes, yeah, end up turning the tie around, or they could easily concede 2 goals in a space of 4 minutes and put a game right on the back of its head again. May not do one of them sorts.
Ryan has a nice point there, too.
I am 100%.
So, question for you guys then: would you rather?
Man United should get to the final. They should get to the final.
Miraculously turn this around, say 3-0, go to penalties or whatever. Would you rather play Bilbao in their stadium in a final or Man United?
Man United all day long, and it isn't because it's at Bilbao. It's because I have more confidence going into a game against United. That's the God's honest truth. Bilbao, if you watch how they've played this season, they have been exceptional. They've been absolutely fantastic. They have torn this competition apart.
I haven't watched them, Josh.
If we get United in the final, that is going to be the roughest game that's going to be the roughest game of football we've ever seen in a long time. It's going to be dogs at fucking war, and there's no reason why we can't go out and win it. We've done it before against them. We can do it again.
3 times.
Exactly.
We beat them again. We get to keep them.
Yeah. So yeah, no, Josh, I pretty much agree with everything that you're saying. Like you're definitely not saying things that aren't true. Yeah, I just for my own sanity, I just have to sort of put a positive spin on things and just to like not want to just check out. Like I have to be like, well, we're gonna have a trophy. That'll be great. It'll be nice to have that finally, have that like monkey off our back. And then, yeah, things are going to wildly change next season. I have no doubt about that. And I just hope that this season doesn't put us too far behind in our development and, with the rebuild that's almost definitely coming. So, yeah, man.
The only thing that worries me is that if we win the European Cup, I can see Ange's contract being renewed. That's the only thing that worries me.
We all said earlier we think it's too far gone.
And go like, I've won this. Fuck you, lot.
Too far gone, man.
Or he could say, hang about, I might want to stick around for the Champions League. Or he might have no choice in the matter. The club might sack him anyway. So, and we don't know. Those rumours, Paratici wouldn't favour him if he comes in. That's gaining gravitas. So we don't know. Nothing's been signed, but Paratici's ban doesn't end till the 1st of July. So that's another thing. Oh, the thing that kills me in this club over watching them play over 10 decades is everything is about as transparent as mud. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you've got to realise about Levy. If he did win the Europa League and then we did keep him in this mad scenario where he did stay, it's still very similar to one day Ramos does, yeah? We finished 13th, 14th that season after we got the League Cup and everything. We sort of struggled the rest of the season in the league and we kept him around, yeah? He lost a couple of his good players in the summer. So we're probably not going to lose a lot of our good players in the summer, say if we did get Champions League. But then the season just curtailed and he was gone by October. I told you earlier, Colin, yeah, about if we keep him and then he's gone by October, we have just basically wasted the first 3 months of next season, yeah? We have just wasted that summer
transfer window.
Do you like, if he wins it?
Yeah, sorry, Adrian, mate. Bought in 3 or 4 of these players, yeah? And then basically what has happened then, we then find ourselves in a situation where come November, we then bring in someone in, let's say is not the same style of football as him, players who then do not fit their system at all, and then we basically have to go into January trying to drag out 3 players to fit into his system ASAP, or we're going to have another Almiron system season how we did with Man United. Almiron coming like October, coming November, basically brought in any players other than that Dorku in obviously January, hardly any players for his system, and Man United has not been able to get any rhythm in the Premier League at all this season since he's come in. You've not had hardly any new manager bouts.
Dan, you and Josh, do you envisage a situation where we win the Europa League? I think we're going to win it. I've just got this feeling about it, right? So if I'm wrong, people can clip it and laugh at me. But we win it, and Paratici is a done deal because it's not signed, right? It can't be. He could be with us now and agreed and working in the background. We don't know, right? He's not officially. He can't be officially join us until like July.
So there have been
what I'm saying is,
reliable sources that said that
if we win the Europa League, would even Paratici think, hang on, we keep Ange for another season because Poch is available after the World Cup next year?
I don't want Poch. I don't like this merit that.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough,
We can go and
Josh.
get Poch. We can go and get Poch. I don't. We have to think about the future, and we have to think about going forward. And if you go and get Pochettino again, you have literally you've taken 400 steps backwards. I want us to go out and I want us to have this. If we go and win the European Cup and we've got Champions League football, that's attractive to a lot of big name players. Now, am I expecting Levy to go out and spend big money? Absolutely no chance. You'd have more chance of getting blood out of a stone. But that doesn't mean you can't get some of the more talented young prospects come through that have got first team experience at this level. Do you know what? I would go and get Liam Delap. I think Liam Delap is an exceptional little player, and given the right system and the right team around him, he can bag goals. He's someone that I would look at and go for. I don't think you don't have the attraction to him without Champions League football.
Josh, the reason there's a lot of talk about Poch, though, is because we've been linked with like 12, 13, 14 managers, I think I put in my group. I think Scott Parker was the last one, right? Motta at Juventus, who's out of work, right? It's because when you look at that list, even if you like Glasner, Areola, Frank, right? I mean, none of them fucking excite me or inspire me. They might be good managers at a bigger club. We don't know that anyway. But I'm just like, that's the list. If you had a Venables or a Hoddle there now, or even a Martin Joel Harry Redknapp, I'd be going like, whoa, yeah. Because I know what I get with those. They're sort of more Spurs DNA. But
going for Poch is like getting back with an ex-girlfriend.
Well, that might, yeah, I get that as well.
I'll be honest.
But look at the list that we've been linked with. Do you like?
I'll be honest.
Who would you have? Would you have Areola? Would you have Frank? Would you have Inzaghi? Even? Would you? I mean, like, who would you?
Yeah, I would have some of them.
We're talking about realistic, available managers or ones that you can buy at their contracts, which is another thing. Levy ain't paying the money, right? So like, none of them, they don't expire. Areola doesn't expire. I mean, it's just Frank, or Silva.
Well, I'll be realistic about Poch here 1 second, mate. I'll be realistic about Poch here. Because I'm sort of one of the fans here. There's a lot of fans who are more to the camp about the romance of Poch coming back here. But if you realistically at it, he didn't do that bad towards the end at Chelsea. But if you look at the players we've got in our squad now, Poch is a good coach. Someone who gets 10% better out of players, yeah? And there's a lot of players in this team. Some of these players are crap. Let's just put it out there. Some of these players are crap, and some of these players would be better with a better coach. That's why I just look at it now. So my motto is, if we're not going to get a great manager, yeah, at least get me a great coach. Someone who's going to get 10% better out of these players, yeah. There's some players in this team who can improve, yeah. So I'm looking at like someone like a Xavi, someone like a Poch, someone like a Glasner, someone like that, someone in them sort of realms, yeah. Someone who's going to get 10% better out of these players, yeah, because we're at a situation now where we're probably not going to get ready-made players, are we? Tottenham, yeah, because it just don't seem to be the way that Spurs do it. Yeah, we're not going to get ready-made players. We're going to have to,
on that, Dan, just on that, so add to that, that, before, back in the day, you'd have loads of players, there were Galacticos, there were 60, 70 million players, and they're all top-notch for 100 million players. Where are they now? I don't see many out there, and I trawl everything to put all the information in my groups, right? I don't see it. There's Nico Williams. I mean, like, he's still at his same club. Where are they? There's so few of them now. There's no Messi or Ronaldo.
I will be honest, the last player that we bought that I got excited by seeing the name was Rafael van der Vaart. That's the last time I was excited about a player coming in through the door.
Josh, in truthful, right? Spurs have only ever signed 2 world-class players in their history, in my opinion. I go back 6 decades, right? One was Jimmy Greaves, right? And the other one was Jurgen Klinsmann. The likes of Bale, Van der Vaart, Berbatov and all that, they went on to be world-class, but they weren't when we brought them in. Even Modric, they weren't when we brought them in, right? We've only ever signed 2. So there's a bit of a myth about.
Well, I mean, Van der Vaart was arguably like at his peak whenever he came. He'd already kind of, I feel like.
Oh, he was great. He
was already established.
I should never have left this club, he said. And Klinsmann, he said, which was amazing, really. I can't remember if it was his first time at the club or the second time when he scored the 4 goals away at Wimbledon that kept us up. He turned around and said, remember one of his quotes, because I think I clipped it. He said, "There's something unique about this football club." Now he's a World Cup winner, and you got it, because to be a Spurs fan, you got to be some sort of a mug, really. I mean, it's like it's in the ether, it's out there. You can't quite put your finger on it, but it's there, and I think this is what Klinsmann has actually alluded to. He went, "There's something unique about this football club." And look, it was an old stadium, loads of good memories, 1-2 cups there, blah, 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 and all that. But we had to move on.
Yeah. You guys, I hate to be a wet blanket, but I've been doing this for almost 3.5 hours. We've all been. I say but Adrian, you've been here too.
Bastard,
I've been here for an hour.
So and my wife just got home a little bit ago, and she's been studying different finals all day.
Colin.
So everybody, do what?
Colin, big up, Josh, big up.
A good welcome back. To streaming a little over 3 hour show. It was only planned to be probably about an hour. It's got about 2
hours.
Nice
to see you looking a bit more human, Colin, with a shorter beard. You know, the shorter beard as well. You know.
Yeah,
Cole, it's nice to see you back. You need to message me a little bit more on WhatsApp, though, instead of just like.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I haven't talked to any. So fair. In all fairness, I haven't talked to anybody for like a while. I've been kind of recluse in like recluse mode. But I'm back, man. I'm feeling better. I'm back, and
good
I'm
to
glad
see, bro. It's good to see.
Yeah, man. Good to see you, man.
And you look a lot better as well. You look well. That's good to see, man. You look well.
Yeah, he does look well. You know what I mean?
Thank you, guys. Yeah. Been trying to take better care of myself. So yeah, I appreciate you guys a bunch. And everybody in the chat, I appreciate all of you guys. We've had a really good, healthy chat going today, which is always fun. It makes the show a lot more fun
think up
Destiny.
Yeah.
We've had Benny Guy. We've had everybody in a hype. Audio artist.
Yeah, Ryan. I think Ryan was in early. Yeah, big up Ryan as well. Big up Ryan.
Yeah. So many good people. And now I got to go back because I feel like if I miss anybody, I'm being a dick.
Yeah,
Chang was here.
Adrian, send me that. 1 second to Adrian. 1 second. Send me that link. I'll see you WhatsApp message. Send me that link over, and I'll be on tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do you the link. Yeah, come on.
Peter K, all the way from Australia. We had so many good people here.
Yeah, Peter, brilliant. He's a paramedic. Yep. I mean, like, God bless paramedics. You know.
We even had a West Ham fan here.
Yeah, he comes in a shout as well. He's good.
He's good people for sure. He's American like me. David Clark. I just want to make sure I'm.
David, he's got a picture of Madison by his bedside table as well.
He does come to Madison's defense, but it's because he's from Leicester. Exactly. And Jose was here. Everybody remember keep Jose in your thoughts because he is sick. So we gotta be thinking of him. Terry Rye, Ronnie. Yeah, absolutely.
Ronnie, big up, Ronnie. Top Spurs, big up.
I think I've pretty much got everybody, but if I miss anybody, my boy Cody, friends with me since kindergarten.
Oh, Cody.
We went to kindergarten together.
Cody, get over to my channel, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let him know. I don't think he's still here, so I'll let him know. And then
a kindergarten, is that nursery? Is that our version of nursery?
It's 5 years old.
Yeah, that's our version of nursery.
It's reception. We call it Dan. It's reception, man.
Yeah, we call it Rise and Fives. Rise and Fives over it. We call it reception, basically. Yeah, Rise and Fives over it. Yeah.
So I've known Cody for a long time. I got him into Tottenham.
Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah, 5 years old.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're still friends. He still likes me after all this time. But hey, thank all you guys too, all 3 of you fellas, and Leo, and it's been a fun one. It's been a really fun one. So I appreciate you guys. And if you're still watching the video, please make sure you've hit the like. You probably already have, but if you haven't, please do that. And everybody, have a really good day. Treat yourselves well, and come on, you Spurs. See everybody soon. I promise it won't be 4 months before I do this again like this time. But all right, I'm gonna play us out, and everybody, you have a great day. Bye.